Hey guys, welcome to the close. Couple hours left on a pretty interesting Monday here. We're back to the upside currently, but running into a little bit of resistance currently for the S&P 500. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We do this every single day. The market is open, coming off of a pretty impressive couple of days last week to end the week. We're looking to hold on to positive territory only just right now for the S&P 500, 0.11 to the upside right now, about 0.5% for the NASDAQ. You want to go to that, Fahad? There we go. 0.5% for the Dow, I should say, 0.5% for the NASDAQ to the downside, 0.11 there for the S&P higher on the session so far. 0.64 for the TSX, 1.5% right now for Brazil in positive territory. Nice day for crude. It hasn't been volatile. It's just kind of been grinding to the upside. 3.3% now for crude oil, higher on the day. Bitcoin and Ethereum back in negative territory at this point. It has been a back and forth kind of day, though. This is about as flat as you'll find this board. Basically 50-50, green stocks versus red right now. It is energy that is providing most of the strength on that. Again, 3.3% move in crude oil. Material stocks also a little bit positive, despite a couple that are in negative territory. Some strength in utility and consumer staples. Everything, though, basically being offset by consumer discretionary stocks back to the downside. Tech also back to the downside. Industrials basically break even on the day. We're going to talk about Twitter. Yeah, Twitter 7.2% right now in negative territory. Warner Brothers 3.25% in negative territory. Some of the back and forth between Elon on Twitter and Twitter's current CEO, very entertaining today, the last of which Elon responded with a simple poo emoji. So if you want to chuckle, go have a look at the back and forth between Elon and Twitter. They're just talking about the story that we were discussing in the morning. They're going to randomly pick 100 accounts to see if the active daily user number that Twitter is saying is accurate, in the sense that Elon was saying on the weekend that up to 90% of that could be actually fake. But the story continues anyways for Twitter. Let's get going. We're going to jump into a few things that we were discussing in the pre-market this morning. Go back over, have a look at how you did, what we can do better tomorrow, and what was available for you for opportunity. Sean is here. He's going to lead the way today.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, today we're going to go back to Ape Nation here and look at AMC. Why? Because there are just some levels that were holding up. I mean, there was really no news today. It wasn't moving gangbusters. This is not one of those days where it's like, oh my God, it was moving up 20%, then right back down, getting flushed around. This is not meme stock mania or anything like that. It's just going to be real simple. You could actually see AMC down today. Look at the NASDAQ down, AMC down. Everything's pretty calm. What we're looking for though today was this level right here, 1150. So this is a 20-minute chart. We've just zoomed back out here so you could see the last couple days held into here, held. Sure, some of these days we went crazy. We went parabolic on this day, and of course that 1150 was broken. So let's go over to see what we did today. We liked it so much, we hit it twice here, and right away off the open. Normally we don't take trades right off the open, but if there's a key level that we know the stock can run into, then we can get out if there's any sort of an issue. Then right there was it. This is 1150 right there. As you can see, it's like 1151. We didn't downtick through 1150. When I'm talking about giving levels of this kind of preciseness, you don't necessarily get out right at 1150. You could hold it down to 30, you could hold it down to 20, give yourself some space. That's all going to matter when you're talking about the upside, because you want to give your trades at least 1-to-1. So this first in right there is actually 1160. So we give ourselves about 10 cents or so worth of room to the downside. As you can see, it pops back up. And this is where we really, it doesn't go. It bounces around here for a few minutes and we're kind of like, maybe it's not going to go here. So we get out of about like 30% or so down here, about 70 to 75 range, right? Then all of a sudden, boom, it starts popping up. This is where we get out at the 50 period, where VWAP was at the time. That's around $12. Then the move extends to the upside. 1240 is our best out. And I just want to call everyone's attention to the high of the day, about 1250. We actually wrote down on our sticky note, look for a 1250 break. We are lucky enough to get 1150s, so that takes 1250 off the table. But you can see here, look at these high marks, right? So forget about what it did today. This is today. Look at the other day. That's 1250. Here you have 1250 as well. So you go back-to-back days where 1250 was pretty key, leading us to today, where there it is right there. Breaks back up, and that's why you get those high wicks. 1240, 1250, 1260 should have been an area to get out. We held. Our best out was 1240. It does make that move back to the upside. Then we just don't want to play it in the middle. One of our viewers said, don't diddle in the middle. I mean, that's basically what this whole area is right here. So we wait for it to come back in, and then look at that. We're reloaded again right there at 1160. So we're able to get that same reload again. But right now in the middle of the day, unfortunately, it's barcode. So we actually wait. It almost takes this down. I mean, we actually have to wait now. That first position in is around 1230. As you can see right now, it's 2 o'clock, and we just got to fill again there at 80. So as AMC starting to barcode, we're now taking advantage of this move again there, taking 20 more cents. My areas, hey, if we can get something out around 12, and again, barcode nation up here, around that view up, if we can get a 12 out for AMC, that'll be our next level. Then you start ramping up. Then you go to 1220, then you go back here. But we're out. Each one of these is 10%. We're already out 50% here as it starts to move, maybe a little bit less than that, as it starts to move back up to the upside. So we're just taking 20 cents. Remember, this is not a crazy day for AMC. You're just basically flat. You're trying to follow the market around, ho-humming. So this is what we're doing right now with AMC. We're playing off key levels. It's 1150, and it did me well today.
Yeah, what a move that thing had last week, along with some of the other highly shorted names in the market. Back in action again today for AMC. Worth noting, GameStop not really as active today. That's a link to the watch list, guys. If you are looking for a free resource, we send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. Absolutely free. I was just noting that a couple of things. We'll jump into big tech here to kick things off, because it's been one of those days where it's been a back and forth kind of session. If you look at the overall market, we did have initial strength that was kind of offset, and then we're back to the upside again now, trying to test the highs back above that 4025 area on the S&P. But any type of day where you get that back and forth kind of action, not really directional per se for the futures, it's always going to be important to see what the biggest stocks are doing. And I mentioned this simply because there are a few, Microsoft leading right now. Some of the chip names also very strong. But just had a look at Apple. I also had a look at NVIDIA, both still in negative territory. So even though we are seeing some strength in some of the bigger tech names, there are still a few laggards on the day, leaving us, as we said, relatively unchanged, guys, for a Monday.
Yeah, well, I mean, Microsoft, as you said there, Brendo, like it's one of the ones that's up. And we've been talking about how since that broke that 270 to the downside, that Microsoft has been a bit of a lagger. Now today you've got Softy doing some serious heavy lifting. As a matter of fact, it's now up 1% on the session, but it's broken through Friday's top. This morning high as well, and it's sort of screaming. And this is in the context of the NASDAQ not breaking through the high, the ES through today's high, but not through Friday's high. So this is kind of what we're looking for, but it's not all shifts, right? Like, I think what we've been noting is Facebook and AMD relatively strong. Now you've got some relative strength in Microsoft, Apple, meh, and Tesla incredibly weak. So, let's see if Softy can't be the one to get going. That kind of does mean you pick the strong ones for the long opportunities as the day trade. That's why, I'm looking for any pullbacks to try to get involved in Microsoft. And the long I like today was mostly Neo and some Intel, but I kind of feel like, Microsoft was one of the first things, one of the last things to drop down on the daily and show you those breaks of major levels, and that caused a lot of the sell-off that we saw recently. But now that it's trying to get back above and maybe even to this 270, certainly back above the 260, the chance to get at least a little bit of a relief rally went up this week with Softy on board.
Yeah, I really like Softy. I think my earpiece should be good now. We'll see if that's going to load in. Okay, but yeah, look, I still tried to stay the same with everything here. Apple didn't really work out too much on the short. I have way too many trades today on Apple, over 50 fills. The last short we were trying was right here, and then we broke above 146, and now you're starting to go on that one. Fortunately, we still have these wicks that I've already cleaned up, so that's not going to be a good one. But, short was fine until eventually it wasn't. There's the downward move, and then there's the break long. We were able to take a little bit long there. Should have held it, as Apple now has maybe turned its tune. So, maybe tomorrow we don't finally, for once, will not have Apple on there as a short idea. I love that Microsoft idea for sure. AMD continues to rip up. We did try one little short down there. That hasn't worked, but since then we've just been long today. Another long dip down by. I was asked about this on Prad on the morning show, on the afternoon show there, midday show. What show are we on? But there it is, a nice little move to the upside there for AMD as that's starting to go. So yeah. Big tech leads today. I feel like that's going to be true. AMD there, Facebook here, a positive stock for us again. That's up 2.27%. So although the NASDAQ is still red, you're seeing names like Softy, AMD, and Facebook all to the upside. And Apple, did Apple go green here? Let's see. That's still Facebook. Come on, Apple chart. Did it go? Almost. So Apple's trying to go green right now as we've given up the idea of a short on this one. So yeah, I would say that, yeah, big tech today leading the way.
A bit of a pause, it would seem, anyways, for the market after a couple of big days to end last week, which overall definitely constructive, heading in the right direction. We mentioned Rivian in the pre-market this morning. It's worth noting, guys, I still see those little tiny energy companies popping up every once in a while. INDO, HUSA, there's a bunch of them. Those low float oil-related stocks. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Rivian, Ford announced aftermarket Friday they sold more shares. And then Rivian comes out around lunchtime today and says they're suing one of their seat suppliers, which isn't a big deal. But the biggest deal of this story today is that it's going to threaten, or it looks like it's going to threaten the production anyways of the Amazon vehicles. Remember, that was part of the whole story here, was the amount of vehicles that Amazon had ordered.
Yeah, and today's going to be one of those. There were plenty of good trades to be had, but I think Rivian is going to be one of those missed opportunities that I don't know why we're not always looking at it every day. It's a great day trading vehicle, and it's been weak all day. Even before that story that you could have the delay in the Amazon vans, Rivian was telling a story of cannot hold support. It was about 25.5 to 26. It couldn't get through that top on Friday's top or lower high, 27. It immediately failed that pre-market and then rolled right through support. And it just grinded to the downside. It never bounced until it got to 24 even. You know, I would have been looking at 23.5 in particular myself. So I got 0 executions on Rivian today, much to my chagrin. But if we get back to 27, I think it's definitely a fade if we see that price again. Maybe even the 26 level, that if the market shows enough strength. We didn't really think it was much of a story for Ford at all. Like, you know, just Ford's moved past this, man. It's about their own. It's about their own production, I do think, and you know everyone's sort of written off that if they get more of a gain out of it, fine, fair enough. We don't know what Amazon is doing with their shares, but they now hold twice as much as Ford, and they apparently haven't sold a dime. But for Rivian, it's a couple of pieces of bad news because I think it opens up the chance that maybe that Ford's just selling off 7 million every single week or every couple of weeks, in which case there'll be this, I guess, roof on Rivian in the short term if that ends up being true.
The roof is on fire. Yeah, so I actually been trading Rivian, and I only went short since that news and lost. So I don't know. The news came out right around here. You could have guessed shorted 25.20 or so. It goes down about 70 cents. That was too quick. So when it started, I mean, I don't know. That short was just a tester. But up here, 24.80. We're trying to go short in 25. It breaks 25. Then we went short again. We were able to get some out around 25. But then it just kept on going. And then eventually we're like, enough is enough. And we got out. So we were trying to dance with this thing around here, you know, 25-ish up to that 25.60. I guess we could have waited for 25.50. That might have been a little smarter of a play right there. Doesn't look like it was for me today. So we will be negative on Rivian as it's just danced around here. I don't know if I like that story or not. I don't really understand what to deal with it, like whether or not they're having problems with Amazon, their supplier, creating these trucks. I mean, I didn't even know they were near even completing any sort of vans or anything like that. So we'll wait to see. I thought it was 25,000 cars was their projection, but maybe there is a different one on the truck side. So anyways, needless to say here, Rivian today for me is kind of like a nothing burger. It's a loser, so that's for sure, but I don't know. I'm just wondering. That was 25.50. That's 25.50. In here, we had some areas of 25.50. That high side was 25.80. So I feel like it wants it just to start to go up. These are all making lower highs now. Higher lows, higher low there, again, like all my ticks. So as we start to go upside, maybe Rivian's found its bottom in and around 25 bucks, but more to come on that one. It was kind of following the futures, which was funny. If the market crashes, I know Rivian will go down, but I'm going to stay away from this name right now. I've sort of dug into Microsoft a little bit on the day break. We'll see if that wants to hold, maybe not. We have the 50 period here at 263.50. So we're just talking, I know this is not Rivian, but we're into big cap again. So 263.50 right here, looking like it wants to get in. So we'll average Microsoft down to that level. If it breaks, we're gone. And then another position, just looking at the board to see if we have time to talk about it, but Roblox, we also took a 33 break. That didn't work, but I'm okay with this. I want to hold this at least to 32 bucks.
All right, I mentioned those little tiny energy companies. Here's another one, TDW. This is on the oil services side, just popping up right now at day highs on volume. So through 25 there for TDW. Again, there's INDO, HUSA, all trying to move back to the upside once again. Oil back to day highs as well with 15 minutes or so left in the session. Tesla to the downside today. We were talking about it this morning a little bit in the sense that a lot of relative weakness for Tesla today, but how much, if you think about it, has this to do with the fact that Elon seems to be spending most of his time arguing with people on Twitter regarding his acquisition or potential acquisition of Twitter? Again, if you want to chuckle, go read the latest from Elon and Twitter, guys.
I mean, yeah, Elon's always good for some entertainment, but look, if he lowers the price of the deal, the Twitter deal, let's just say, right? Then okay, then it's going to be cheaper for him, and he has to put up less or whatever Tesla shares, and that's good for the stock. If he doesn't do the deal, same thing but times 2 or whatever multiple you want to put on that. So, the weakness in Tesla today, I kind of feel like it's just it probably has a little more to do with the stock and the valuation than I think the Twitter thing. Because if Twitter is going to be down because people think it's not happening, well, that's kind of bullish for Tesla. And I was guilty this morning, and at least 2 times here, and thankfully one of the scalps was a good one, but of looking to try to play those bottoms along those lines. And 750 didn't hold, although if I had held on to that one, fine, fair enough, it would have worked out if I just held it further against me than I wanted to. But for all intents and purposes, it didn't hold. And then it got down to this 730 area here, and I took another shot at it. Essentially, if you look at the Thursday afternoon, like this little top, I tried to take it off that bounce. It worked for like $5 or $6, and it just could not go. And it's been so weak. But the only thing I could have rolled into was maybe I could have rolled into a short here, is the only thing I'm thinking. Because I wasn't looking short this morning, so I was never going to get that trade. But I could have maybe looked at a short into that 720. Now it looks like it's possibly put in a bit of a wipeout bottom. So 720 might be a little bit of a thing here for Tesla. But yeah, I would say it's a little bit surprisingly weak. If it's a valuation thing, well, that's been true for a while. But I would have thought that Elon, possibly putting the deal down, or bringing down the offer price, or not doing the deal at all, or that risk causing Twitter shares to fall would be not Tesla down 5% when the market is actually showing a little bit of strength today. So, it's a little bit of a surprise for me the way Tesla is trading. That's why I haven't been super active on it. The way I see it, if you have a bad read on a stock and you're not down on it, you kind of count your blessings at that particular point, because I came in thinking long multiple times and could have got smoked on Tesla. I'm actually a little surprised that I didn't take a third shot at it, to be honest with you. Glad I didn't.
Yeah, look, so I didn't take any shots on Tesla here today on the show, but I did put some in my account. So I think it was, I'll have to double check because I bought the CDR, but down and around here, 730 or so, we've added to our Tesla position for the longer term. I don't want to keep averaging into these names, but I feel like the market just feels a little bit different right now. So we'll do it one more time here on some names we like. We did it on Netflix at around 170. That's at 190 today, so that's paid off. I don't know if this will or not, but these bottoms of 700, we'll just see if they can hold. I don't think Twitter's taking up too much of Elon's time, but it definitely is, the talk of the town, I would say, around Silicon Valley and what is he up to and things like that. So for me, I don't think Tesla's necessarily following because of Twitter. I mean, a lot of these EV names and a lot of the stock market right now is getting tapped out. Tesla's been such a great run to the upside that, hey, there is probably some profit taking happening in Tesla. But also, Tesla's a little broken, man. I mean, we were just at 1140. You go from 1140 back in early April down to 700. I mean, you've just taken off $400 out of 11. You're down 35%. This is down 35% in about 2 months, or a little under 2 months now, a month and a half. So yeah, Tesla to be down 30+% in a month and a half. Obviously, there's always going to be the Elon story. There's no doubt about that, and everything that he's up to. Look, if he's not worried about Twitter, then he's worried about Saturday Night Live. If he's not worried about Saturday Night Live, he's worried about Dogecoin. If he's not, I mean, it goes on and on and on. There's always something this guy's dealing with. He had like the Russian army pissed off at him too because of Starlink over Ukraine. So, I mean, to sit here and start to like worry about like what Elon's doing, to me is, and Neil even said this, like he probably has, you know, to be on his like social media team or like his,
that'd be fun.
Disaster control center or something, must be going crazy with this guy every day. But honestly, I like Tesla here. I think it's one of the most beat down names that didn't really deserve it. They had a great quarter. The valuation is still super high, but that's never mattered for Tesla. So let's just see where we go from here. I'm excited for the future. I think it's a good pickup, but hey, is there more pain? Yeah, probably. I would really want this Twitter thing to sort of ease up, get the deal done at 44.20, which it's probably going to be, and then we'll move on from there. But I'm buying Tesla on dips. The next dip is going to be like sub 650 if we get there.
So just be careful, guys, with both Tesla and Twitter right now. So Chamath Palihapitiya is having a tech conference this week called the All In Summit, which is based off of their podcast. So Elon is actually speaking right now via video at that conference. So that's where some of these comments are coming from. So both of these could be moving around for the next little while. Wasn't he at one point trying to fight Putin as well? He was like, anyways. SoFi was up in the pre-market this morning on a upgrade today. Ends up being really nothing to do or nothing to see here. But I mean, constructive anyways, guys. We're holding higher.
Yeah, it just didn't give a trade, right? Like it's on the 15-minute, SoFi probably just come so far that it needs to consolidate. That's the reality, because a lot of people were in at the top, right? Like I'm not talking about the top on Friday. I'm talking about like in the pre-market. So when it took out what was a big channel here on the upgrade at 720, you know, it's whether it was an upgrade or not, I probably wouldn't have cared, to be honest with you. It's just more about the level that it was trying to go from. And you know, pie in face, it did make a move to 750. That should have been enough of a return. You know, I then tried the reload in front of that 7 even. It couldn't hold the bottom end of the channel. Did think when it took out that low that you were going to be at least thinking about the 650 on a deeper pullback. That never materialized. So still sort of thinking here that support from Friday afternoon looks like that's going to be the next leg. Maybe it does just sit here and need to consolidate for a couple of days on the high end of the range, like 680 to 7 even, and then it can get through this 720 price. But you know, that's a rejection of the breakout. So hopefully you can go sideways here. I'm not trading it inside of this range. It's not really that active to be doing so, but it needs to either break back above 720 or let's retest 650 and try to catch something on SoFi. A bit of a disappointment, but there was probably a way to have done a little better with it. But you know, obviously, sometimes when these things have gone so far, so quickly.
SoFi.
Oh, that's a good one.
You did that. You went so far, so quickly.
Oh,
SoFi.
man. See, but I wasn't quick enough to get it, so that's on me. But yeah, it doesn't matter what the catalyst is. It was probably going to have trouble breaking out today. Yeah. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, we wrote down, I mean, SoFi was the #1 name on our sticky note today. Why? Because it got the upgrades. We really like that $6 level. So right here, I wrote down 650. Any kind of a dip buy into 650, we really liked it earlier this morning. And by the way, I'm changing up my strategies a little bit here. Microsoft, we took the break high. We normally don't do that, but because it's the afternoon, a little different than at 9:30, 9:40, where we are scared you know what of taking highs because we've been burned so much. We're going to take the high break right now, and there it is, 34 out at that next high, 73. So 40 cents right there on Softy, and now we'll go a little bit higher. But just to talk about SoFi there, you guys know if you're watching the first show, my bids were at 680. They never got hit down there, and then I was at 680 and at 670. So those bottoms today, I even had them here. I just canceled before I came over for the trade of the day. So I was still waiting down here. It went down as far as 683 right there, and I was waiting. And I just didn't want to change it. I'm trying to be a little bit stubborn, because the thing is, if I go to 685 or 690 and then it comes back down in, those are levels that I didn't really want to see, this 650. So the reason why we talked about 650 holding, I'll show you right here on SoFi. This is a 20-minute chart, and here it is. So it's this level right here, basically from Friday, where we had a monster open. We came back in, we touched 650 and then ripped up. 650 a little bit in here as well. These highs were 650. So, hey, look, I always, whenever I'm a little bit confused, which is always, I look at levels that are key levels, that are option eligible, that maybe other traders are trading around. So like Fahad, he's going to sit there with a big order, probably not at 650 exactly, but maybe at 655. So I'm going to play around those big orders right now. And here we go. Microsoft right now taking out new highs. That's Rip City. AMD is Rip City. What up to my Portland Trailblazer fans, Rip City. And here comes Roblox back from the dead. So just like Brookhaven, Roblox back from the dead right now. My daughter goes, Daddy, play Roblox with me. Brookhaven has an update. So I'm like, okay. And next thing I know, we're walking around some, I think it was some astrological launching. I don't know what it was, a launching site for spaceships or whatever. She's showing me all these secret doors and all that stuff. So pretty cool, Roblox. I don't think Roblox is still worth as much as it is, and maybe this comes back down to the downside because I ain't paying for any cool emojis or anything like that. But here we go, upside for Roblox. Instead of just talking about Brookhaven there and those dads out there, or if you play Roblox, you
gotta buy more stuff if you want the stock to go up.
You gotta buy more stuff, yeah. So my 10-year-old canceled his Roblox.
No way.
Yeah. He got something called Discord Nitro, so he's on
Short
that.
Roblox right now.
Okay, Roblox up to 93.94. I'm going to take a piece off. I didn't like how that had to rally all the way down here. Let's take a piece off of Roblox and then hold at least 70%. But let's get out 30% for just a 10-cent hit, licking wounds right here.
All right, a couple things quickly here. For what it's worth, not a huge deal, but Tiger Global now out of both Netflix and also, so this is Netflix and Rivian. So another management firm anyways, selling their shares of Rivian today for Tiger. NIO was an interesting one this morning as well. Some of the Chinese ADRs, visibly strong in the pre-market this morning. NIO was one of those. And then about halfway through the pre-market, Bank of America comes out and says they're upgrading the stock, so that gave it even more of a bump. But again, market back and forth, some of these EV stocks back and forth as well.
Yeah, the good news for NIO there is when that upgrade came, if you were trading it really early, it broke out at about a 14.20, 14 and a quarter or so, which is pretty much right around where it closed on Friday, what was resistance all week long. It broke out really early. And then, at that point, what are you doing, right? You're sitting around waiting for it to come back to that price because you're probably not, unless you're the early bird gets the worm, good for you, 7:30 in the morning. And it does dip back in. It gets you that, you get that 14.30. It was a weak breakout. Man, breakouts in this market are they're tough. The dip buy gives you the entire range to 15. The breakout gives you 30 cents. And now you're dip buying to, once again, Friday's or last week's resistance. So 14.30 to 14.50 was that. I'm long at 14.50 now. NIO was one of the longs I really liked. They report this week. Should double check. NIO.
I haven't seen them report, so.
I want to say Thursday.
The
best part about it is I'll sit there confused about which day something reports, and in 5 minutes we'll get to know. So I apologize. We don't have all of these memorized, but they report this week. So it's breaking out on the higher time frame. Can it get to this 16? That'd be great. I think that's the channel we're in. 216 makes about the most sense. If you don't get through that before earnings. That would be, I think, a week run, relatively speaking.
It says April 29th. Did we?
Oh, they're not this week?
We missed it? No. That was 2 weeks ago.
We missed NIO?
We must have. Well, you must not miss. This is according to FinViz. Can you find that out, Miss V?
I thought they were this
NIO earnings. She's distracted. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, that's on me. Then take all of.
No, I didn't realize NIO reported either. Yeah. The thing about NIO is we get confused because they release
delivery numbers.
They delivery numbers all the time. Yeah. So we're always looking at NIO, XBEV, Li Auto, things like that. But okay, just a quick update here. Microsoft. Hello on that one. We'll drop down some money and just adding to our day today with the cash register as the cash register goes brr for Microsoft to the upside right now. So that's a nice little move. We took it not against all odds, but like it was ticking to the day's high. And normally that's not a trade that I like, but now I like ye a lot. Okay, and then right now again, another AMD out upside for 70 cents there. We got it out at 20. It's now at 35. All these positions I have are at the bottom. So if you're there, Bears versus Bulls Media, maybe you can tell everybody what I have. AMC long, the AMC long right now. This was your trade of the day. Actually, it's come back up right now. So AMC coming back up to the upside. Let's just take a piece out. If I can get a 79, I might as well. It's just bounced back upside there. So there it is. Another piece out on AMC. So AMC long right now, AMD long, $1 in the money now on AMD. We're long 95.50. We're long Microsoft, 80 cents in the money. Right now we're long Roblox. Oh, a quick update on Roblox. So again, we took a piece out there at 92 for 8-cent hit. And there is an 11-cent winner. So right now we're flat. We're paying a little. Actually, no, we marketed in and then got fees both ways. So our fees are flat right now. As we'll wait for Roblox to tick a little bit higher. Like if we can get a 33.80, that's pretty sweet. That's where I'm waiting for. And then guess what? We still have Old Faithful Veru. We still have it
You're
here.
You're still in Veru?
Yeah, I'm still in this, baby. We're trying to moon this stock. So let's get going. Sir Fahad, we need this stock to moon.
I was telling Fahad this, on the way back. I was like, this stock, like the levels that it plays off of, like this morning, it basically went to Friday support in the morning, up to Friday resistance, and then right back again. So like it was a great short off 15, then it's right back off of like 13 with a 12.50 stop, I guess. So there's a rule about these things. Well, it's not a rule. I call it a rule because anytime you have one of these runners or low floaters or gap up stocks, whatever you would like to call it, when they make a break, then fail the break because it didn't actually get through Friday's high, and then hold support, that morning support level or above it, and then barcola all afternoon, usually that's a sign that it's got a secondary run in it. I'm not in the short anymore, but we'll see what happens. If it ends up still holding that 13, yeah, decent shot. But 15's been a wall on that stock for the last couple of days. So it might have some trouble getting through that price. Been a lot of sellers up there.
Somebody in the chat, who the F is Fahad? The guy goes.
Don't worry about who.
Yeah. Edgar Lopez?
Don't worry about it.
You don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't worry about who Fahad is. No, we're just playing around. Fahad is a member of our production team. So, and just the reason why we say about it is because relatively new trader, right? And
yes.
And he's getting into some of these active names, just like a lot of you guys are as well. And Neil and I like to help out as much as we can. And thanks to Fahad, he's seeking some advice and things like that. And that's all good, right? And what else is all good is this. Money. Spin the money around again, one more time. Oh man, we got a handsome guest coming up in just a couple seconds here. Wow, the dude takes off his hat and everything's flowing around over there. Okay, so yeah, anyways, Microsoft right there, $1 in the money. We just took it out. I'm gonna go reheat the coffee and you guys are in for a treat. Let's go.
A couple things first, Sean. Neo is, as far as I can tell, actually, you know what? Look at this. So this is what I work with every day. So this is the details board for Neo Incorporated. You can see top of the board here. Earnings date then is going to be May 17th after market close. I'm going to double check that because I've seen about 3 different versions of that same date though. But that's the first thing. So potentially tomorrow aftermarket for NIL. The second thing I wanted to mention was this. Spirit just popped up on this note. So the board of directors is going to review the unsolicited offer from JetBlue. Remember we were talking in the pre-market about a now potentially hostile takeover of Save by JBLU. So Save just popping up again. All right, now. Mr. Justin Kozach is to my left. Good to see you, as always.
Yes.
To discuss the opening bell newsletter from Day Trade the World. It's not brand new anymore, but I guess it's a couple months.
We are sending out the third or fourth issue.
But it's
all a blur.
It's a monthly.
It's every 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll let you take over the details then.
Absolutely, yeah. So Day Trade the World. So we've been working on this for a while. It is every 2 weeks at Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Central Europe time or 2:30 a.m. in Eastern time. We send out our latest content, so blog posts, anything from the YouTube, for the Trader TV YouTube channel. Package it all up into an email and present it to you with the latest information about what's going on in the market, things you need to know as a day trader, and that sort of information. So if you want to sign up, daytradetheworld.com/opening. Throw in your name and your email address, and we will send you a copy. And the next one comes out tomorrow morning at 2:30 a.m. Eastern time, just in time for the opening of the market, and just in time for you to get the Trader TV watch list email as well.
Are you up at 2:30 a.m. writing this?
We have scheduled it for 2:30.
Okay.
The email is already written. It is waiting to go to the masses. So we're hoping that we can get that out to more people. And we are not all that far off from 1,000 subscribers, and we only launched it like 6 weeks ago, really.
Amazing.
So make sure to subscribe. daytradetheworld.com/opening. We'll throw the link in chat. I want to get back to the desk and make sure to get your name in there.
Yeah, for sure. Do that now, guys. Sign up for the Opening Bell newsletter. Great stuff. Great content in there. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. There's a June 1st date as well, kind of floating around that I've seen in a couple of places for NIO. So with Chinese stocks, they kind of pop up wherever. So potentially tomorrow.
Okay, I mean, yeah, hopefully that's clarified. I mean, I think that's what I saw this morning, thinking it was this week. But, obviously.
NIO potentially reports tomorrow?
Yeah, so.
What? When I left, it was May
17th is tomorrow. I mean, I kind of thought it was a little bit later in the week, but I can always be wrong about that kind of a thing. But that's the thing, like, we will get it when it does report. Like, you can see the stock move. And generally speaking, we do get some action. Speaking of EV names, there was the market just curled off the high. Both the ES off Friday's high and the NASDAQ as well. And Rivian, I'm going to take my shot. And maybe we're just cursed with the stock today, but oh goodness. And of course I just missed, but I'm going to take my shot getting into hopefully at least a little bit here as it starts to roll over. If it gets past VO up like a 25.5, I'll probably give this one up, but I'm kind of looking to weakness, to play weakness. And one of the other trades, I have a couple on, but one of them bears mentioning because it was INDO, IMPP, and then Brendan mentioned, I think it was TDW, some of these lower float energy names have been just absolutely running. Well, they're not completely falling apart. Now, usually when you get a parabolic move like this and it starts to roll over off that 90-cent level, well, guess what? Like this didn't do the usual thing where it just falls all the way back down. It's held 75, it's held VWAP, and has a decent shot at maybe making another turn to the upside. So I am still in this one. I'm almost all out of IMPP. I hold like 15%. It's really not a heck of a lot, but I don't think I want this getting back to the high of the day, not the strength that it's shown. I look back to a couple of weeks ago when it held this 85. It's got a lower high down around there. So I want to make sure this one turns into break even, or sorry, the last of this does not turn into anything worse than a break even trade. So I'm tightening up the stop because of the relative strength that it has had. And don't want to give up that profit. But I just got into Rivian. If it takes VWAP up, I'm out of it. I'm holding on to NIO. As a matter of fact, if the market pulls back, I want to reload this thing. If we pull back here, then I want to be getting more shares close to 14.5 on NIO. So no need to rush out of that one, but got to watch out for these energy names. It's been so strong, and the low floaters, yeah, they've made their runs in the afternoon in the past. So you don't want to sit there getting too cocky when something is in the money. Like if it's a strong stock and it's holding higher support, then you want to make sure you bank your profits.
I mean, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 longs right now, no shorts, as the market just turned green. So we got Microsoft $1.20 in the money and still trying to go. We took that break for you early, man. Right when the show started, 212. We came back, we sat down, we take that break of the day at that time. 264. Now it's starting to come back in a little bit there. Sorry, now it's starting to go up as the NASDAQ just faded out a little bit. We could take one more piece out here. I mean, maybe we should. This is starting to go for me. We made back a lot of money. We lost a little bit there, messing around with AMD and Facebook. We talked about that, but there goes Microsoft right back up to the upside again. Maybe we just hold this, man. I mean, here it goes. New day's high here for Microsoft as this is now $1.25. AMD also $1 in the money long. We tried to play off 95. We did get stopped out there when it broke off, or I guess that was through 95.50 there. Should have waited for 95 ultimate. We tried to short early. That didn't work, got out. Now we're long here into a nice little trade for that one. And then look what's happening right now as well. Congratulations, man. We did the trade of the day. We did Ape Nation, and there goes AMC right now again. So we're going to hit it, man. Maybe if we hit the ape, it'll go even further. It's not like it's a huge trade, but this stock's not mooning today. You can trade like normal, guys. We talked about that with AMC. We have that 1150 level, right? That goes all the way back to Friday. Where 1150 held right there, and then I'm just playing. It goes to Friday, and then it goes back to earlier on in the week as well, the 10th, where 1150 held. So those are some levels that we're looking at, and you just take shots. Like, I'm long right now. I was talking with one of the traders earlier as well on the floor, and I was telling her, like, you just got to take a shot sometimes. And it was when AMD, oh, that's what it was. It was my earlier trade on AMD when I said to her, like, you know, where would be a great place to get long? And she said, oh, down here, like 93. And I was like, that's exactly where we're long. So, and why were we long there? Again, playing off this bottom here of the day on Friday. So you play off some of those bottoms, and if they break, hey, you get out. Not every single trade is going to be like, oh my God, this is a monster. Not every trade you're going to get the absolute bottom like we did there at 93 bucks today. Sure, it goes up to 95.50, but look at the profit as it goes up. This is $1, $2, $2.50 in the money. When at most we were giving this trade like maybe 50 cents worth of room. We got long at 93.42. So our out would probably be a little lower than 93. So we gave it a little bit of room and then cashed it out. So that's kind of, you know, where I feel like we need to be trading right now. And I think a good example on that is going to be Roblox today as well. I mean, hopefully this can start to make a move to the upside here, but we're trying to give this one back like, you know, 60 cents, something like that. So now we're in the money 30. We've already seen it against us. We need this to get a little upside. So that's where that's going. Veru is what it is. You know what, Carvana today, now it's not doing anything. It wanted to go for a nice little jog earlier. We had that move. I had the long, Neil had the short. And now it's just kind of chilling out, right? And so these are the kind of plays you don't really look at for now. We're looking for names that have moved. So DL,
like
you're reloaded right now. Yeah, what are you guys talking about? Vinco Ventures?
Vinco just touched well, it broke the high of the day, but it touched Friday's high just now, like maybe like a couple of minutes ago. So it's been a strong one. There's no question about it. Vinco, it's the tide deal going through.
Right.
So
yeah.
You know, it's had pretty good volume to this move. I'd say it's actually better volume for the most part than a lot of what we saw on Friday. But it's running into some resistance here. And look, the story to a certain degree is the short interest. And I think that's why you're getting some squeeze. But even if it takes out this top 290, you got 3 to contend with. Like, that's the bigger level. And you know, when you see something like that where an obvious high has overhead resistance even higher than that, then a lot of times the first thing is if it breaks at 290 and everyone just sort of looks at this and says, okay, double top break, let's go. And you're zoomed in on the chart like, let's go, double top breakout at 290. Well, that's right into an obvious level like 3. If it goes to like 93, 94, maybe 96, 97, something like that, can't get through 3 even. That then sets up like a short that a lot of people would be on, you know, where you're essentially risking the $3 and maybe you're taking the 290 on the way back down and you're getting 91, 92s. That's a trade I'd probably put on if the volume's going to be there, which it looks like it's going to be. For now, just in Rivian, like I said, holding on to NIO, but this is one that definitely deserves to be on our radar. Save, I mean, there was a volume spike there when they just released that they're looking or evaluating the deal, and I know the CEO's on a different program right now, but it spiked up, came right back in. The problem, of course, is that the deal is not going to, like, JetBlue's offer, a lot of people think is not going to get regulatory approval, and that's why the stock is trading at 19 bucks. And I think that's something to keep in mind here. Everyone will see something like, it's a $30 offer for the company, I can buy it at 19, oh my goodness, it's free money. It's not really, because, you know, obviously there's a really, really big, really long way they have to go to get regulatory approval, and of course it's also hostile. That's a lot to overcome. Ms. V?
Hey guys, just around 15 minutes left until the power hour, and we will see if markets will be able to hold the positive vibes into the close. Meanwhile, I remind you to smash the like button. More than 3,000 people are watching us right now. I know you're busy, guys. That's why here I am. Let's increase the likes number for the community. Back to you guys.
We're down with a few more likes. I just want to say right now, too, quickly, we just got out, so we only have now 20% left for this trade. So we'll go, wow. I was actually really surprised at how well Microsoft moved off that open at 2 o'clock there when we just started to go higher here. Remember the NASDAQ? Look at the trajectory of the NASDAQ. You're going to notice all of my positions. You see where it says short and what it says beside it? No positions right now. The NASDAQ bumped to Greensville. It's starting to go. Maybe we switch our tune if we take this down, this 50 period. But for right now, we're going to be all longs. AMC, oh yeah, another update here. AMC, I'm waiting at 95, just a little bit ahead of VWAP here, just in case we tip up one more time here to 11.95. We want to make sure we get out of that one. Veru, I'm just going to hold that all day until Fahad tells me to get out. What's up, Brandon?
All right, so we were talking about the potential of Twitter moving around. Elon just said, guys, a viable Twitter deal not out of the question at a lower price. So as we were saying, if he can pay less, he will.
Yeah, and I think that's why, it's weird that it got a bump on that news. Well, it's not really weird. It gets a bump on that news because it's trading at 38, right? Yeah. Like, an implied lower deal could be something in the mid 40s or something along those lines would make some sense there. So, from here, it makes some sense. If they, before there was a lot of risk to it, if there's a lower price, like if he comes in and says, we're giving it to 44 or 45 or something along those lines, just somewhere in that mid 40s, and the regulators, well, not forget the regulators, but the board is on board with that, and they actually end up capitulating to that lower bid, it becomes a really attractive buy under 40, because he'll be less need for foreign financing, and foreign financing is probably the only leg they have to stand on when it comes to blocking the deal for that national security stuff, or that's pretty much the reason that they would have to be able to block it from a regulatory standpoint. So to the extent that he would need less foreign investment, that could only bode well for the deal. That's why I think you see the bump here. If it's under 40 and he says I'm buying it for 45, I think it's going to be pretty much a green light, which to me it wasn't up higher, but certainly he's a smart guy. He's going to find a way to hopefully get this one done, and this is how it works, right? Like he made up that, I'm not saying he made it up, but he came up with his reason to be able to get this ball rolling with the fake users, and we'll see what the next step is. But until we actually hear a price, we don't know yet. It's just all speculation.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it's going to have a 420 in it somewhere, that's for sure.
I
mean, you do your due diligence. You come back with 5420. That's hilarious. Okay, so just shout out to Mookie Wilson if you're still here. I think he was talking about a short up here. Not I think I saw him mention it. I don't know if he took it, he or she, but down there, 95.60. Well, Mookie Wilson, I think, would be male, but
well, yeah, I mean,
we don't know. We don't know what they're going by. So 95.60, my bad. 96.60 there for the short. So that came in, got a little nervous there. We got out, we got out of a piece of our AMD at 96.20 when it broke through the 50 period right there. So now we have to watch. If it takes that level, we'll go again. Maybe more upside here if it takes down. But I mean, I'd rather this get to like 97 to break, kind of like our Microsoft trade to the upside there. AMD, it's not that it's relatively weak. It's not. It's just the NASDAQ has cruised here. Let's just take this. So this is from 1 o'clock right there, the bottom. So you see a nice little bounce up there. That's probably close to 0.5% at least. If you take AMD from like 1 o'clock, you're down here. You're still up, but it's not as aggressive as AMD was, during its heyday here in the morning. So I'm wondering if it's run out of steam a little bit. So it is what it is. We will wait to see on that one. I don't know if Mookie is here or not, just to see if they did. If he did or she did get that short, but we'll look at that in a minute. Maybe they're gone. Okay, so that's AMD. Roblox though, guys. Roblox went into the 50. We took another piece out. Sorry, we got a 45 out there on Roblox. So that's a 33 long. We just took 45 cents on that one. Looking for it to go higher and higher now. You can see the 50 period is actually back above where we're in. So that's always a good sign for me. So we'll probably play that as our out now. We don't need to hold it back down into here to 32.50. We now have the 50-cent win. We just took right there. So not 50 cents, but close enough, 40 cents or so. We'll see if it can continue to fly higher. But now that VWAP and the 50 period, VWAP's still up there. Now the 50 period is back to 33. We can use that as our out. So we'll try to massage this a little bit longer. Market pulling back pretty decently right here though.
Yeah, and with that pullback, it probably doesn't matter that the market's pulling back for this particular trade. I care more about oil and those individual names. But INTP, as I was just saying, was a little bit strong, and I was tightening up to stop. It just popped back into VWAP. And if you say something, if you're short something, and the next thing you start thinking about is a little bit of relative strength in it, then you want to make sure you're taking profit when it comes down. And it held support at 75, so I'm going to get some more shares out in front of that 75. I just double-checked on Chegg and that TWOU that had the news of speculative buy. It looks like not a heck of a lot going down there. Those were so strong a little bit earlier, and maybe they can get a secondary run, but there was some speculation that they were of interest to be bought out. And then the usual, like it trades up on the news, halts up, makes another leg higher. Now it's retesting the halt open price right now, which is about 1060. So if it's going to have some support this afternoon, one would figure it's right around this 1060 or even the halt price to the upside, that 1040, somewhere in that band. I see it go sideways there, maybe catch a bit of a bid. I think that could be a shot for a long, but both this and CHEG, Chegg, sort of running out of, Chegg is on the New York. Both of them running out of steam in a similar fashion. The difference, and why I just showed you TWOU, is, well, Chegg has a pretty big gap fill from 19 to 1850, whereas TWOU has a chance at barcoding off of an 1850 with a defined support level. So that's why I'm looking at the former for a potential trade. I was looking at Vinco Ventures for a short 290 to 3. It doesn't want to get there just yet, so it looks like it's pulling back. I thought it would make one last push before maybe reversing. Looks like it's pulling back right now.
Just quickly here, I just tweeted this out. So, infamous Michael Burry of The Big Short betting against Apple here. So this just happened right now. So we're going to wait to see where that goes. Michael Burry will probably delete his Twitter account like he always does. He puts something on there, then deletes it so he doesn't have to read the feedback. But right now, we're going to see apparently on CNBC, Michael Burry right now revealing. Remember, he was betting against Tesla when it ripped up 1,000%.
Well, that being said, when he got stopped out or closed all those shorts, that was like pretty much a turn on the market. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't him getting stopped out that caused a turn. I'm not saying that. Like when his shorts
it was a horrible
gave
call.
up. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Like, it's between the call and a trade, right? Like the call was entirely right. The trade was a losing trade.
Right.
Like, that's the way I would look at it, and that's the thing. Like, if you stop out ever at the high when you're short something, there's a certain aspect of what you were doing that was kind of right, but the execution didn't end up working out for you. So that's the problem of being in a short in the first place. Like, that's the issue.
The problem is like, unless you're going to give a price target or anything like that, it doesn't. Like, eventually, everything's going to work, right? I could say Apple long right now, and then reveal in 2 months that Apple's a ripper, but might have gone down 30% first, right? So, anyways, Brendan, what you got?
I'm just going to mention the same thing, guys. Like, does this guy never give up on these types of things? But yeah, no, same thing. Apple moving lower.
All right. Yeah.
Apple actually went down on that?
Well. Yeah, I mean the whole market.
Oh yeah, because we pull off the highs there.
I switched. So maybe now, I mean, look, even no matter what I think or we think or whoever thinks about a trader like Michael Burry. I mean, obviously, what is it? Scion Capital, I believe. SCION is his business there. So it's just all he's really doing is trading other people's money, most likely into that. I don't know if personally he has anything short against Apple, but remember they're a fund and they put on trades, right? And so right there. Nice little 147. Remember, the thing about Apple is, regardless of what Burry says or anybody, it's that 148. The thing is, I switched over. Like, I didn't want to short Apple anymore, but you're still at that 148 level that held the last week basically here on a top side. So ever since we broke 150 right there on the 11th, it's just been down and then a little bit of a turn, a stop at 148, then back down to 144, back up to 148 again, back down to 144, and right now we're back up again. I sound like a broken record here, I understand that. Back up to 148 again here. So to me, I'll let this all settle down. I wasn't planning on getting into Apple anymore today anyways, but if we do get up to that 148 level, I feel like that's a little hard for me not to short that. So let's watch it. I'm not going to go short right now. Why? Because I'm 5 positions long. So that's why. AMC right now, a nice move. Did we get that out? Not yet. No, we didn't. We missed that 95. That didn't get out. But we did get our AMD out a little bit there before it dipped down. So that's been a good trade. I got to try to reload some of these longs. If anything, it's probably going to be Softy. Or if you have any other names, throw them there in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, Softy never came to the support that I wanted, but at some point it's still relatively strong. It makes sense. I mentioned Vinco Ventures didn't get back up to that 3. It pulled back, so I'm shorting it off the consolidation. The current high will be the out. I mean, 288, so 290 or so. It's worth mentioning. I think that headline, he held options against 200,000 shares as of March 31st. So take that for what it's worth as to what he does or doesn't hold right now. So I mean, he could have made like a really short-term bearish play on it, which was when it broke support.
Great since March 31st.
So who knows? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, who knows?
Been great.
Who knows what he's been doing? Like, if he's out of it, maybe it was just like one of those quick little trades there. But like you were mentioning, some strength in the market. I'm still looking. Yeah, like Tesla still can't get past VWAP, can't get past 740. I'd love to see, one of the good things about Tesla, if it were to break back out, is this NIO would have a better chance of getting a second leg to the upside, which it's having some trouble doing. And then the other one, which we're looking for long, I'm still bidding about 262 on Softy. And I feel like the market would have to come back to 4,000 in that particular case, I think, for that to come into play. The other level that would come into play here would be looking a little bit closer to like a 263.5. In which case I want to have a quick look at my favorite indicator, like that UVXY, which has just been riding the bottoms here. Like what I want to see happen to go take a more shallow level is like a big drop off the lows, like a nice little, show the weakness, get down towards 15 if I'm accepting a price that I don't want for the long. But really, I think why you're seeing the melt up today is you're just seeing a very slow melt down in volatility. Like it's not really catching those bids. Previously last week it would find support, and you get these sharp bounces off of that support, and that's why you couldn't sustain any rallies. We're getting the opposite of that here today. So that's why you're floating to the upside is the only term I can come up with. This is Vinco. Now I'll stop out at the high of the day because it did pull back, but you do have to watch out. Like, this name has a big short interest. It's got some decent volume behind it here today. It's a relatively tight stop here.
Yeah, the market's starting to go again here a little bit. We just tried to get some Microsoft bids near 264. We didn't get any, so we're sitting there again to see if we can, as that name just pulled back a little bit, as the market pulled back. So that 264 should have had a bid there, didn't realize it. We do now as this market comes back in, where I was looking at Apple and that Michael Burry thing and missed it. So we will wait for that if it comes back in. Like, honestly, at 263, something like that, 263.50 is where we'll average in. And if somehow Microsoft wants to give not everything back, but back down here to 263, then we'll get out. I mean, we've already hit it. We've done really well on Microsoft there. Like I said, we only have 20% left. So we're in the money on the last 20%, but it did go against us. So watch out to see if that does come through. But yeah, okay, so that's Microsoft coming in right there. We did have a question about oil. I mean, hold on a second, CL $F up here. So, I mean, here's the 20-minute chart on oil right now. This is crude, light sweet crude here. So, I mean, what was the super chat there? It was, okay, guys, time to short oil now or wait till 114. Well, it's at 114, so if you're going to short it, I would short it now if that's your target. I mean, this is the thing. Whenever I look at charts like this, you see these little wicks up there? Like, we just wicked up to 115 and then fell back in. So I'm feeling like if you want to put on a trade when you see a parabolic move like this in oil right now, maybe I can zoom out, just there it goes. So there's that 115. Like, when you see a little bit of a parabolic, this is a 20-minute chart. So like 4 red candles here on a 20-minute daily chart, that's a big, huge move to the upside. You can see, it's kind of just been moving up, moving up. That was a nice one. So I would agree with that, Gary Mills, that if you were going to go short right now, you take this short, wherever it is, I don't care. You want to wait for 114, wait for 114. You're 30 cents away. So grab that short, but then use this 115 as your out. I mean, it doesn't need to be rocket science. You don't need to be like, and this is going to be, again, your own risk tolerance. I have, when Neil and I talk about this, like, that's why I'm saying to you, you got to trade your own book and your own risk tolerances, because, I don't know the kind of trade you're putting on. Like, this would be a bigger one, in my opinion. Like, if you're only going to give oil $1 to move, then it's closed now. It's closed at 230, right? So it's just going to trade off exchange. So I don't think it's going to take out 115 with that. But again, you got to have your stops in there. And again, double check with your own broker to see, what the trading is on oil futures, whether or not you can trade it past 230, because right now in Chicago, 330, it's closed over there. So you got to watch out for that on the NYMEX as well. So 115 coming through there. I think it's worth it from a risk to reward side if you're going to short oil into that number right now. So, hey, if you're putting on a big trade, I like that 115 as an out. Otherwise, I can sort of zoom out and do a little more work on that. But we all know oil's didn't break that 125. So if you're going to extend it out, that's not a horrible level. It's never a horrible idea to go over to Brendo.
Just saw this, guys. Gold, GLD specifically popping up on a volume scanner here. 170, I guess, coming into play there. A little bit of volume to the upside, though. But individual gold names also seem to be moving right now. Not seeing a reason yet, but heads up for gold.
Yeah, and just so quickly going back to oil, the other way to do it, I mean, we're an equity trading show, so the first thing I thought about was, okay, yes, there's Indo and INPP, which I'm trading, but there's also things like Oxy or Chevron, right? Like CVX here, 175. There's a nice little wick top through 175, lower high consolidation. So pretty similar. I mean, you can now use oil futures to maybe help you out as a bit of an indicator, but now you have sort of a defined trade here. So much so that I might just jump into this one myself. I've done this exact trade on CVX in the past, and it's generally worked when you're dealing with those nice, big, fat, round numbers. 150 was pretty good for this, if memory serves. 160 as well. I mean, this is all on the way up, but certainly you look at the daily chart, and it's just screaming at you this 175 triple top. And with that, with oil futures as well, I'm giving you guys a big clap. Like, that's a great one. I saw CVX. The second you were talking about oil, I saw someone mention CVX. I was like, oh yeah, pulled up the stock. Triple top on the daily, wick high right here. The pullback and all that you were just talking about, like, why not? So I'm jumping into it, give it to the high of the day, maybe a couple of shekels past, because 175.18, I'll probably give it to the quarters. It's an expensive stock. So we'll see what happens with Chevron. I like that setup. It's a risk to reward type of thing, and that's the kind of trade I pretty much always like that kind of trade when it sets up like this. So jumping into Chevron right here. Shout out to you guys. Rivian, I started trimming this Rivian because I got some more shares in front of VWAP, and it's essentially going sideways here. So if it decides to play in this range with 25.20 as the bottom and 25.45 as the top, well, then I want to make sure I'm getting something inside of that range and improving the price. If it's not going to do the big move where you get in on the consolidation and it flushes down in to give you $1, it kind of is setting up and profiling like it might do something different, which is just barcode here in a 30 to 40 cent range. If that's the case, I want to stay net short and get a better price by taking more active shares on the top end, which is a little closer to that 40, and then working them out all the way down to 25, and then holding on to something in case it flushes the 24. So I am starting to work that on Rivian. As we said, we got into Chevron. You know where the stop is going to be in Vinco Ventures as well. Microsoft, on the other hand, I mean, it's basically now barcoding off this 264 area, and I'm not really seeing anything happening in volatility, but if UVXY isn't going up, that can only be a good thing.
All right, what's up, Gary Mills? Yeah, look, all right, so someone said, yeah, short oil, yeah, right, like, that's a crazy call. I agree, I'm not short oil. You guys know that I've been long XLE. I just bought some more down here at $74. XLE right now at its highs and breaking all of these daily levels. So if you've been with me on oil, we started buying XLE really late into the 60s here, and then again, we just bought it on this, literally on this dip here, and now it's to the upside. So XLE, like I said, even just right here back in March, February, late February, where we started buying this thing, I was like, oil to me is the trade of 2022. So I am not dumping this trade. I'll let you know when I sell my XLE, but it's not, I mean, I'm in ZEO. We talked about that with Canadian, but it's XLE. So this move is a beautiful one to the high side. So please don't at me for oil comments, because I love oil.
For the record, I was talking to day trade.
No, I know.
I'm not shorting Chevron for real.
Someone on here
like
was mentioning about short oil is crazy. I agree. What's up, Profit Hands, Paper Hands Profit Taker? Yeah, you have the same problems I do right there. So thanks for that one. The best ever thing I heard was when Tony came on and said that he went to the doctors and they prescribed him with paper hands. That was the best thing. I was like cracking up when I heard that guy. And then when I heard that, I'm like, this guy's coming on the show. And then now you all know the history of Sir Tony.
You know his calls are still good, man.
Yeah, his calls are fantastic.
Unity hit 40 again today, but it's still in the money, that 30.
Yeah,
it was Unity, right? We decided it was.
It was does. He called Unity 30. He also has Upstart there. But remember, his calls have been absolutely horrible. So do not take Tony's calls out of his own mouth. By the way, Veru just went ham as well. So your boys got Veru. Veru just went from $13.50 to $13.85. We're $1 now in the money on Veru. And I'm not dumping this thing until we get back to day's high, $14.50 or so. So let's see if Veru can go. We're long at $12.77 right now. VERU, making dreams come true, is Veru. All right, so that's a nice little move to the upside. Roblox came all the way back down in. I'm a poet and I don't even know it. So 32.90 back in. That's why we got some out there when it came through. Obviously, some of these beat down names. This is why, like, it's not worth celebrating Roblox long calls. Unity, like, if you're scalping and you're getting out, that's why I give props to Tony, man. He called Unity on that move. They got killed on earnings. Just like Roblox, there's going to be a lot of relief rallies. Like, just think about Roblox today. Its bottom was $31.50. Its high was $36.50. You know, that's $6 on a $30 name. Like, that's 20, I mean, it's not exactly $6. Let's call that 15 to 18% of a move from top to bottom in an hour. So that's 15% in an hour. So, you know, and then it's giving it all back. So that's why I feel like it's a little early to call some of these moves. But yeah, shout out to Tony on that call right now. Microsoft apparently about to increase pay to employees, so that's great. I mean, if you're going to increase pay, it means you're doing okay. So we'll see there. We know Microsoft has the buyback. We know they have the earnings. Now they're throwing cash back at their employees. I like that. I mean, I think it shows that they have a strong balance sheet, which we already know Microsoft has. So kind of just self-fulfilling prophecies here. But I like Microsoft until we break back down below 263. So a little lower in, we'll start to average in. We took one average right there.
So I'll bite on Mullen here because it is actually breaking the high of the day. And we always, look, if it's strong and it's showing you that kind of strength at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting. But the volume's pretty light. Like, I mean, you can probably barely see on the 15-minute the little spike in volume that it just had. But, you know, if it can get to like a 125, like that's a pretty interesting level. And it just took out Friday's high on the way up. But it's really, really relatively light. I know 50 million's pretty good, but the stock is only about $1. Always one that's worth watching because when it does go, we know what kind of damage it can do. And the other thing worth pointing out, and this is like when I started day trading, you know, my first profits, consistent profits, was literally trading penny stocks. I had this conversation with, I think, Fahad too as well. When you see something like, you know, penny stock make the break of $1, which is exactly what it did, put in a capitulation and then reclaim that dollar, and then look what you saw today. All morning long. $1, $1, holding one all morning long for a nice little tight breakout. Now, you needed the volume to come in here, but it's always a good, I shouldn't say always, it's typically a pretty good starting point psychologically for these. It's better if it has a catalyst, obviously, but in this particular case, not that bad of a setup. It just doesn't have the follow through you'd like to see. But again, 10, 15% is 10, 15%. I don't think anybody's going to be sort of sleeping on that. CVX is starting to come back in. I'd hope this is more than just a bit of a scalp trade, just sort of given, you know, what this could do. You don't want the 15-minute chart. Given what this could do, but it is starting to roll back in. I'm going to take some out in front of 74, 73.5. I don't know if this has VWAP in it. Oil's been entirely too strong for that. So, you know, if you're able to get, you know, $50, $1.30, that kind of a thing, that'd be fantastic. Chevron and every other oil name out there that's a big cap is probably something I want to be out of by the time we get to 350, that's for sure. Don't want these imbalances affecting it when it's been such a strong sector today.
Yeah, the imbalances will definitely. Mullen, I guess you just talked about that. I see it's going. Yeah, Walmart and Home Depot earnings. So for me, I'd much rather be into Home Depot than Walmart, but we can have a look. Now Veru in the money at $1.20 and still going. So, you know, your boys got the small caps today, the micro caps, the mid caps, the big caps, no cap, as Trader Prad would say. Okay, so here's Home Depot. It's been an absolute disaster like a lot of names have been, but you're trying to find a base down here at 280. I feel like with summertime coming through, I know the wife and I, and more specifically the wife, has been in there what do you call it with all the flowers? Their garden center, that's it. Garden center over the last little while, spending all the cash there. So if that's any sort of an indication for summertime, obviously I like Home Depot in there, the dividend as well. We'll see if Home Depot can make a move. And then Walmart, the thing about Walmart is, and I said wow, I can't believe Walmart's just going to the upside so much. I've sold out of my Walmart, so I got out of this name probably about a month or so ago, not at these highs, somewhere on the way up. Probably, I think it was right around here, to be honest with you, 150. I mean, that makes sense to me. Yeah, that would make sense, right into here. So I'm out of Walmart. I didn't have any of this. The reason why, I just couldn't understand this move up. But again, it's the whole recession, it's whole inflation. It's like why dollar stores are starting to go back up. And it's just like, hey, people are choosing to maybe spend a little less money on things that are typically getting blown out. Bacon, food products, things like that. Walmart's still going to have, a great price on a lot of products, especially with their great value brands. And that's another thing. When you can hold brand in-house like that, you do control a little more cost. So I do like Walmart as well, but I feel like the run's been up there, and now very, very cautious of any kind of a guide there for Walmart. What's up, Brandon?
So on Mullen, guys, a heads up, there was this. This was earlier, just be aware, it wasn't right now, but it was just another update on their solid state battery development, saying they're still on track for manufacturing of their second generation Mullen 5 EV crossover that is apparently going to have a solid state battery in it. So their timeline, essentially, is all it says, is still where they said it was.
Okay, so they reiterated his timeline, not bad.
That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sign, but you want a catalyst. I mean, that's a good enough catalyst. When effectively a penny stock is bouncing off $1, you're not really looking for, it doesn't have to be gangbusters a lot of times. Dominic just gave a good one in the chat there. By the way, CVX will ring register on the first third. That just hit 174. Market pulling back pretty heavily. Dom mentioned this FNGR. This falls into the category of what you were mentioning there, but it's too light volume, bouncing off of $1. But I will show you this because I am still in this one, and this is the other end of the coin. When a penny stock doesn't get to $1, when it tries to, the other thing that can happen is it capitulates. And this one couldn't get through that 85 to 87 channel on the daily, and then it absolutely fell apart like an absolute rock. And that dollar works in both directions. Now every single short's starting to come in. Yeah. We just pulled back off the highs again, but we're back at that 40-25 area.
Something's happening, I feel
maybe
like
that could have turned into a bit of support. We'll see what happens. Even like Vinco fell a couple of pennies there, but Chevron's starting to work again. Rivian now back down through 25, so that one also starting to work. Yep, market coming down again.
Brendo, what you got?
A couple people just posting a note from Morgan Stanley, just basically saying, beware of bear market rallies. They're temporary, and we could still go a lot lower. I mean, that's not much, but appears to be it right now.
For the rocket science, Morgan Stanley. Wow, great insight there, Morgan. Give me a break. What is even happening here? Yeah, we know bear market rallies.
You mean to tell me bear market? Oh my, what?
What? That's what's happening.
They don't
right now?
last?
Oh, what? The NASDAQ, the NASDAQ just had some crazy moves
Throw
last
everything
week.
I thought
I was expecting it to go up 3-4% every day. But no, that was a big move, and we're just kind of talking tongue-in-cheek there. But yeah, so
Are
this...
we, though?
Not really. But now the market's come back in. I took that opportunity to sit there and get steamrolled. But we'll see. I mean, it just came into my prices. So Facebook just hits me there. We have VWAP at 201.50. We're willing to hold out for that. Let's see if it goes back up to the upside and we can take some profits. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's, like we just said there, I don't think that's anything to be expected, that this market may be a little overheated right now. But you see, we're coming back in. This could be, we're going to give back some trades here, some profits if this doesn't go back upside. But hey, we're here to trade, so we take the long. Now we're long Facebook right here. Let's see where it goes, man. We just took out a piece, literally 10%. I need this to get back up, Facebook. I like it, but there's that nice little move up there. And the problem why I want to get out of this is if this rally can't hold right now, and it's not even a rally, the NASDAQ's negative, but we did also get into some more softy as that. So we were just getting out of softy there. And then it started to crash back down. So that was a 264 flat. We got some out at 264.45, whatever that was. And then this started to happen. So right now we're into it again. We have our outs. Let's just hope this can hold some of these high moves.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, well, hopefully continue to try to ring a few registers here as CVX continues to fall back down. It's not exactly falling apart, but that is something that was rallying today. Like Sean said, the NASDAQ is negative on the session. Like oil is positive, so it's a bit of a different story there. Vinco Ventures as well. I don't think it cares too much what the market usually not the kind of stock when it's breaking out that it's going to matter that we made a top in the futures. However, this is one of those situations where the opposite is true. So I never actually got into the situation where I wanted more shares anyway. So, unfortunately, like it looks like it might pull back into VWAP, but this won't be any kind of a hero home run style trade. Like it needed to pop, like that failed breakout at 290 and then failing $3 was kind of where I wanted to get the short there, and it ended up a lower high short, which isn't exactly like the first case, like the number one case scenario that I wanted. NEO starting to pull back. That's the long I got. Now testing VWAP here. It's still relatively strong. 1450 still very much in play. So the fact that we're pulling back on the futures this much and NEO is holding VWAP, I think that still validates that long trade, but I don't think I want this thing to be breaking down past 1450. I got a break-even stop on my NEO long as this market decides it wants to come in. And I know for sure, I don't even have to look at it. Yep. I mean, the second the market turned, I knew I was going to look over at Tesla and see us back below. Now retesting 725. We were joking around when we said 700 because that was just a round number. I think there's other significant levels out there that are lower than that, but we're now down to 725, current low of the day 719. Maybe 700 does come today, but it would take one heck of a turn in the futures, really. Like the VIX just popped 30 cents, UVXY popped 30 cents, which is nothing. A lot of times we'd roll over like that from the top, and UVXY would have popped like 40 or 50 cents, maybe even 60, 70. Not that much volatility in volatility today. I didn't mean to say that actually, but it's
no. I mean, it's not moving. The market's not super volatile. It's more of a controlled move today. Unfortunately, right now you're going to see. I mean, we were all long. The market was cruising. Then we had the Michael Burry, and then now we have this about Morgan Stanley coming through, and now the market just wants to go lower. So we're sitting here. I had too many bids on. I didn't even realize I had all these bids on Roblox. So actually, I gotta start to cancel some of these. All right, so Roblox came in. We're still looking at this 32.30 as a bottom right now, so that's coming a little harder there to the bottom side on that news. We weren't expecting that kind of a move. We're almost out. Facebook, again, it's not a lot of shares because it's not really breaking any key levels, but we are right around here, around that 201.50 area. So if we do break lower, which could happen like right now, then we're going to get out, I believe, anyways. So 201.50 break, we're going to get out of this name, and then we'll just reassess it. We should still be fine net-wise, obviously on Facebook, but this unrealized is not great right now as we're out of the money 50 cents on this. We're out of the money 4 cents on Roblox. Hopefully that can bounce back on a little bit of a NASDAQ bump. And then right now, Microsoft as well. We've averaged into this play. We're just looking for these low takes. Like if Microsoft takes down 263 right now, which it looks like it's going to, then we got to get out. Something's changed, right? We talked about that. The market was cruising. We were long. Then all of a sudden, a couple bad stories. Now the market's starting to come back in. And this is what happens. We lose. Like when you're biased one way against the other and the market goes against you, it's not setting you up to win. So we're going to take another piece out here on Facebook. We're just trying to make sure that this doesn't get too disastrous. I still think there's upside in this market, but what I think doesn't matter. I mean, we got to trade price action right now. And there we go. We'll take a little bit more out there on Microsoft on Facebook in the 80s just to try to, breathe. Things are starting to work out a little bit better for us now as we start to come back in to profitability on some of these trades. Really, it looks like the biggest trade that I'm going to have to worry about is going to be Roblox. Right now, we've defended that bottom. The market has to rip for this thing to work, man. It's not doing anything based on Roblox. As the market comes down, this thing screams to the downside. If it gets back up, if the NASDAQ can go, then yeah, I'm pretty sure Roblox retest 33 for sure. And then back up here, 33.40 isn't far away, but we're giving it only to here, man, 32.30. If that breaks, we're out of there. I was just like, oh my God, things are getting better. And then now the NASDAQ, you can see, just starting to take down that low. We're going to get stopped out basically as soon as this breaks, which is fine. Still going to be a positive day, but there it is. So Facebook and Microsoft both come out at the same time. So that was bad as they're both breaking lower. Still fine, still green on the day, but now we got to worry about Roblox as things are really starting to elevate here.
It's like you said, man.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to breathe. 1 into the 2. 2 into the 3,
yeah.
3 into the... Fabulous is one of those underrated. Anyways, the FABOLOUS. you can tell what the areas that we like, but through 25 on Rivian, so we finally chewed that through. If this heads down toward low today, I'm trying to hold to 24.5, maybe 24.25 on our IVN. CVX, Chevron, call it by the company name. We did get through that 174 down to 173.5, so looking for the 173 or VWAP. Looking like that might actually come into play, guys, but this one is credit to you guys. We got a super chat about oil, and then somebody else was mentioning Chevron. You pull up the chart, and it's like that is a setup for a short side of the trade. So we ended up taking that one. It's starting to work into the downside, but the only thing that is not moving as expected, if Chevron drops $1 and goes $1 in the money, like IMPP, comparatively speaking, should be breaking down. Like this is a penny stock that just tried to go parabolic. Well, I mean, it didn't try to go parabolic. It did go parabolic this morning. But I'm a little surprised that you get a slight pullback. This thing should be through 76 and falling down into the 70s or 60s and just capitulating at this point. Instead, we're still at 16% to the upside. It's still holding VWAP. So mental note, IMPP is still strong. Get out at VWAP Neil. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing here. We have to be flat at the end of the day anyway, so there's like 40 minutes left in this day. And maybe I'm revisiting these, like INDO, Indo, IMPP, these could still be in play tomorrow. Like, you know, Vero's probably not going anywhere. Like, these things will last for multiple days. So decent chance we're coming right back and looking at some of these low float oil names tomorrow, and maybe even trading some of the same levels. Obviously, if the market comes back in, it's getting close to decision time on NEO, which without the market, that run back to the high of the day is probably not happening at this point with the pullback that we just saw. So, you know, that's kind of gotten away from me. Might have to cover this one anywhere I can in front of 15 even. That's the likely roof on NEO for today. Yeah,
I don't know really what to think about this last half hour here, because again, remember we have the imbalances coming at 350. Man, like I'm not feeling good about a direction right now, unfortunately. So I'm just going to go with the newest trade. I mean, I still have them all on. You know my outs. We got stopped out on Softy and on Facebook there. So our AMD trade is light, so I'm just holding this one. This is not even on my radar right now. Roblox is the biggest fish for me right now. But we did take that opportunity there to get into some Apple shorts. So I'm trying to play off this 147 again. So, I mean, we started the short rate down here. Obviously, it's starting to work down. We're short right now Apple at 146.17, and so it's right here. It's only 15 cents in the money, but it's starting to make a move down here. So let's just see if the market wants to fade. Obviously, we know Apple's been in trouble. We talked about how we like that 148 up there. So we'll play with it into this range, 147, something like that. There it is. Now it's starting to crack lower, so good on me for that trade. We're like licking the wounds a little bit from this Roblox trade now with the Apple trade. So now that Apple's come in, let's take a little piece off. And wow, that was a good out. Like, and I'll review this in a second. Let me just put a sub. What am I? Yeah, Apple, yeah. So sub 146. If that ticks down there, we'll get out again, or get out one piece if it comes back in. Just quickly on Facebook, like we got out at 201.50, right? It just ticked down, almost broke 201. So maybe that's an area here. But again, you know, you could to try to defend that. We're a little down on Facebook right now, and I wonder if this market will give back. You're only down 0.8 on the market. We know how nasty it can get here into the close. So Facebook's well off some key levels. And if I actually zoom back out for you here, we still have all this to get through. So by taking a trade in here is literally in the middle. So we're not going to do it. Facebook's going to have to come down to 198, which there's no way I expect that to happen today. So that's that trade for Facebook back into 198. I'm going to leave it alone. I mean, 199, fine. We might take that as well, but that's going to have to come into play. And if that does, then we'll be screaming about our trade here with Apple as, oh, that just, like, where were we there, man? Apple bidding 145.96. I was just on the bid, like, come on, one more, like, what happened there? Again, it sees like a parked order and it runs away, but that's okay. Apple shouldn't have any problems filling any order, no matter what size I'm sitting there. So I just have to be right. Let's see if Apple takes down that 140.95 area, and then we'll get filled. But this is a good short so far.
Yeah, and looking at Softy now pull back, obviously it was doing some heavy lifting in the market. It comes off 266. I'm looking at 61 here. Now, obviously that's going to coincide with VWAP, but pull over to the 15, and you can kind of have a look there at where it broke out from later in the session, where it found resistance in the morning, where it closed on Friday. So if there's going to be a place that we can hopefully anticipate a bounce in Microsoft, this was one dip buy that, you know, we definitely think if the market makes a turn, it was so strong throughout this afternoon's rally, and it was a rally. I know the NASDAQ never got positive, but it was a rally in Microsoft. Microsoft went from sort of testing and actually breaking Friday's lows to breaking Friday's highs and then running another couple of dollars, which is strong. So I like the 261 if we can get it. For now, it's really just about where do I want to get out of Chevron, because like I said, it's relatively strong on the day. And when you have something like this, it's not, this is not some parabolic mover, not great company, which is falling back down into earth and you just hold it until the close. This is one of the strongest names in the market today that a lot of people like in a strong sector, which is relative strength in here today. Let's get out in front of VWAP or this late day breakout price, which is 173. And I'm seeing it really start to slow down here as it gets close to 173. And that's the thing that's piquing my interest. I'm kind of thinking I should just take off the $1 to $1.50 in this range. Get out of Dodge. We still have the Rivian short. We're still short a couple of small cap names, which I think can work going into the close. Hoping that Chevron falls, too much further here might be a little bit wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, the market, we're still short. I mean, I'm waiting here, 145.85. We just realized that was where VWAP was again. And I might just have to stay on some of these names, guys, because I'm missing opportunities going back, checking out on AMC, checking out on some of these names. But right now, Apple just touched VWAP. I should have been sitting there and wasn't. So now I'm going to park some orders where I want for Apple just in case they come through. That bottom 145, obviously, we really like that. If that came in, I would hope to notice it. But that's about a 145.50. We want to take another piece out there. Oh, missing that 80. See, it's costing me right there. But we'll put another bid down in 145.40 or so here for Apple. If that can come in, then we'll like that for sure. And some of the outs that we got there on that move down, I'm pretty happy with them. There's 263 on Microsoft. We tried it, fail out. Now we save ourselves about $1 or so on that move. The same is true for Facebook. We're still hoping that Roblox can get back going. I don't know. Someone said check DraftKings. I mean, we've been looking at DraftKings. I don't really see that much. I don't love this name. Again, I wouldn't mind getting involved. You could see here you're right at some support. So to buy DraftKings ahead of 12.50, I don't think there's anything wrong with that idea. It's just I think the market's probably heading southbound a little bit now. And then DraftKings has held up okay.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
But it isn't. So if the market ticks lower and touches the bottom and DraftKings holds this level, and we come in tomorrow and we're still holding that 12.50, maybe 12.25 to 12.50, it's not a horrible base if you look at it. I mean, I think the real problem comes, and I know I had this one long at 13 when it failed. That's a sort of problem. It's got some overhead resistance that still has to work itself out, which is about 13.5 here. But if you can start consolidating in this range here up to 12.50 to take a run at things like the 50 period or even that $15, it's not terrible. I just don't know if you're there yet. It feels like it's a little bit early. But that's one of those, put on your watch list, make sure you're checking it out all week because it's not at a terrible level. And by the way, I rang the register. I just got out, made sure that we have our little hot dog. It's weird. I have this, my hot dog winner or winner, whatever, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Both mine are a little bit freakier, but that weird, my head rolling around hot dogs doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. Although the good thing about that dog when you see it, and I'll put it up there for you to see again, is it's got the one thing you need on a dog outside of some good sauerkraut, which is the mustard. Right? I don't care about that ketchup. Relish is okay. But all I need is it's got to be Dijon. That wasn't Dijon. But yeah, that in the crowd is good. I took off the Chevron, like I was saying. There were some buyers coming in at the afternoon breakout price. At 1 o'clock, you broke out from 73s. It just started going sideways from there. So you get in, get out, take the winner. That's the idea for late in the day. It's a different story with Rivian because Chevron's strong on day. Rivian, kind of the opposite. So I want to give this room to try to fall down towards the low of the day, especially if the market wants to sell. So Rivian going to hang on to. Vinco, I don't know. It's really just not doing much of anything. It dropped like 6 or 7 cents off the high, maybe more like 10. And you're seeing it already start to catch a bid. And the volume is just dying down. But volume dying down, and it's not giving up too much of these gains, and it's only up 5% on the day. This could be one that we just have to get out of because it's not really doing anything. It'll be a winning trade, but it didn't really set up the way that I wanted, which is another big push, trapping some longs, and then you're short through short through 90 in front of that $3. I think you get a bigger return there. So even though this did work out, it just didn't really give the setup that would have possibly yielded a better trade.
Yeah. Man. Any pineapple on your hot dogs? No. Even no one puts pineapple.
You guys got come on.
No one puts pineapple.
And I love pineapple. You know
Mustard
how much
must be a Canadian thing? No.
Huh?
What?
Mustard goes on all
that
hot
must
dogs.
that must not be an American that said that.
Yeah, I mean
bagged milk. We'll take credit for that. Maple
we
syrup.
don't have bagged milk in our house. Do you guys do that?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Okay.
What,
We use we actually have the carton.
Oh, a carton.
Yeah, we have the carton.
Oh no. Well, we buy like the 4 liters because my kids are drinking milk like
Oh,
mad.
yeah.
Right there.
We're a smaller
I put
household,
milk
so
in
I
the
guess.
coffee too, but okay.
Always black for me.
Yeah, chili dog.
Obviously.
Chili dogs are nice. Yeah, mustard. Well,
Oh yeah, chili dog. Yeah, that works too.
poutine is better. Yeah, poutine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're all about that in Canada here.
Just
No doubt.
honestly load the crowd, dog at the game, dog
Yep.
in a beer. I mean,
the crowd's better
I'm a
with
simple person.
sausage because you get a little more context to the meat there. But
well, sausage is always better than a hot dog. I think that's
yeah.
Now we're off topic and the market's still.
Yeah, we're not really. I mean, this is fine. We're not off topic. People like this talk. Okay.
Now I'm hungry again.
So, well, yeah, getting hungry again is a different story altogether here. All right. So, I was like about to try to do something like. So right here, I got out of that little baby position because I didn't want to look at AMD anymore. But when I did that, I noticed that 95 held, and 95. If you wanted to sort of dance a little bit here. So the problem is that I'm short Apple, which I know it's not that much of a problem, but that 95 is looking pretty good there on AMD, but I don't have anything like I normally do on this stock. Like 95's not a fantastic level there, so I'm not in love with it. I'd rather it come down a little bit. Yeah, let's just hold off on that. I was about to say, like, if you really want to go, man, you just buy whatever your maximum is right now. Take a 30-cent hit on AMD because, again, this market retraces back up. AMD is going to go right through 96 and probably 96.50. So it's just a matter of where you think this market's going to go. I'm going to take this opportunity to get some more out of Roblox.
No.
It's come back up right now, so I think this is a pretty wise decision here to get a little bit out of Roblox.
I almost gave the Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker no, because someone just said short Sundial, and I realized Sundial actually, it's up 20%, and at 3 o'clock, you mean to tell me in Power Hour Sundial made a high like this, and no one told me? Come on, guys. You got to let me know Sundial's moving, up 21%. Brendo.
So Elon talking the overall economy now, guys, saying the U.S. is probably already in a recession and sees 8 or 9 more interest rate hikes to come.
Already
We
in a
just
recession.
talked about like Elon staying in his lane and doing his own thing, and now the guy's an economist? Like, seriously.
So I actually understand the argument to say that you're already in a recession. It's
No,
just,
but why is he, that's the whole point. It's like, I don't know.
He's an
Like,
opinionated
I know,
dude.
his opinion means a lot to a lot of people. And that's part of the problem in my underestimation here, of underestimating Elon's strength. I mean, honestly, like 9 more? Is that what you said, Brendan? Yeah, 9 more rate hikes? I mean, we're
maybe potential.
Fine if they're small, but we already know that's not.
If they're
the
quarter.
next 2 are at least half. That puts us 1 more up. Then he's saying 7 more.
He's saying 7 more.
I don't know.
one
I mean,
basis
maybe
point
he has
from
Jerome
here,
Powell's
so-
ear. I don't know what this guy's doing, but
So basically, he's saying like his target would be like
I actually don't even know what he's saying.
like
anymore.
3/4 points above where his expectations are for the end of the year. So that's pretty aggressive. I'm a little surprised that he would say that. But other end of the coin is it's not a new thing to have said the Fed was behind the curve and needs to be more aggressive on inflation. That's not a new thing at all. So like there is
he's a smart dude.
Yeah,
I
there's something to be said for that, and I'm probably the first person that should at least sort of respect that, because I kind of fall into that camp thinking that they were a little bit late and they're starting to get aggressive now, but they might. It's a difficult thing to do when you have an economy so big. You're trying to thread the needle that they are, and that's why I'm not a huge fan of like being over the top with criticism, because it's like, imagine the responsibility that comes with having that job. Right? Like, think about it. Like, people either absolutely love you or absolutely hate you. Don't Fed chair.
Oh,
Like
well,
that is
yeah.
like that is That is no joke, and I don't mean to defend them at all or in that regard, but like you have to think about the massive responsibility that comes with it before you heap the criticism and the amount of people that are going to hate you for your decisions. But this market is trying to catch a bid here, as I notice. We've slowed down, and I keep pulling UVXY up, and I'm going to pull this one away. I've been showing you UVXY. VXX here is showing a little bit of something as well, where you just essentially you're holding a consolidation range, and as long as we don't break lower, every single time I see this, it's like you can't seem to break out of this range, then your moves aren't following through, and that works in both directions. So for now, Rivian is still falling. I held onto that instead of Chevron. For now, it's still falling, but it's really starting to grind a little bit to a halt. So I might have to get out of this one. I'm thinking about putting a trail on, but we're close enough to the imbalances that I won't. The other side of that coin for me is the one long I had. It's like, you know, when the market made that top, I could have just gotten out of NEO, just taking it out in front of 14.90, but I'm like, nah, I already scalped it out here. If it breaks 15, this thing could retest the highs. Instead, I just got trailed out of NEO, so face slap. It's one of those, if the market's turning and you're getting into shorts, and you see a level like that, you could also get out of your long. That's the other decision you can make. You don't have to short the stock, but you can cover a long trade. That's another way to go about it. So it's one of those, you just give it back, and I don't know there was a terribly good reason. The futures were at the high, double top on the NASDAQ from this morning. The ES at Friday's high as well starts to turn around, had every chance to be able to get out of this. Instead, it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just, you know, throw a trailing stop in and let it go. And letting it go was not the right call. IMPP, which I'm still in, it is still, I'm telling you, man, whoever likes this thing at 75, 76 cents is not messing around, and there's nothing on the bid. Like it's got lots of size on the offer pushing it down, 78, 79, all around here, and I don't see anything on the bid at 75, 76, yet here we are. So I'm definitely writing that one down as a key level for tomorrow on IMPP, one way or the other.
Okay, so Roblox stopped out. We talked about getting out of some of that, and we did. So it wasn't as bad. Actually, it's pretty good considering how much this went down. We were able to get out of the way there on Roblox. There's an out at 51. There's another out at 46 or 47. And there's the final straw, the last coup de grace, as Roblox takes it down to the downside. But hey, we ain't crying right now because we've got this big one on. Apple now 70 cents in the money, starting to go to the downside here. You know, Captain Elon, and oh, what's up to Douglas PC there in the chat? You're 100% right. He was saying something about how, you know, Elon's just talking bigger picture and just trying to like give everyone a heads up on what he's thinking, things like that. So look, anybody, what I meant by like kind of stay in his lane is like that's something I've never heard him talk about, really, the Fed or anything like that. So I understand when he gets asked the question, he's going to have to just coming up with answers. So that's most likely what that was all about. But right there's another one. So we'll go a little bit of a floss action there as we take down Apple now, down to the downside. We know we want to be short this name. We are short Apple again here right now. So that's looking like a pretty good one as we shorted Apple into that. The only time we went long was right here today on a 146 break, which actually cashed out for us pretty good. But shorts early, shorts again here on Apple. And unfortunately, again, we only have that 40% left actually. 20, 40, 60, have 40% left here on Apple. Should have got it all out. Here goes the market back up to the upside. What's up, Brendo?
Hey Sean, that's me with likes update, guys. We need just 350 more likes to get to that desirable 1,000 likes. With almost 4,000 people watching, it shouldn't be a problem. And guys, only you can help us. So community, please like this video, and back to you guys.
Yes, sir. 4,000 watching. Thank you guys for your
Sam
support.
Troy, loving the show. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks. I think everybody for the kind words there. Yeah, it's all about the fun of being able to do this for you guys. And sometimes it's all about the market being strong. Sometimes it's weak, but it doesn't matter. Like that's the truth of the matter is. And it's like Elon giving the bigger picture. Like we're just showing you what is moving, what our ideas are around it, and then hopefully that's something that everybody can learn from. We love to learn from you guys too. Like I said, like Chevron was probably the best trade I had in the afternoon, and yeah, sure I might have seen the setup, but it wasn't me that mentioned Chevron today. It was a super chat talking about oil, and then that led to a discussion, and then from that discussion, we're able to start to look at some of these other opportunities. I just took some more out of Vinco Ventures because, as I said, if it doesn't move, doesn't matter how much it's in the money or not in the money, got to get out by 4 o'clock, so I'm starting to get out of it. Someone just mentioned AMC, but I don't see much there. I think 1150 is a key level. It's really not. It's not close to that 1150 just yet. So if it pulled back, look, if this bounced off 1150 and the ES was bouncing off 4,000, the S&P at the same time, then you have a couple of coinciding big levels. That's worth it for a dip buy, but not seeing much that makes AMC enticing. And GameStop, I'm only bringing up GameStop because it's back below that 92 there, Sean.
Ooh, is it? Okay, the declaration has been made. Yeah, so, okay, just quickly here. Apple, so we got a nice bid out there. We just took another piece out when it broke above VWAP. So this is going to be a nice trade to end the day, man. We're really happy with this Apple trade coming back in. We obviously aren't happy when Facebook broke. I mean, this, again, all these fills, next time I'm just going to hit escape. I know Arun talks about he doesn't trade on events and blah, blah, blah. But, when Facebook was coming back in, I like these levels. But that talk about the market being overheated and what Morgan Stanley said there definitely should have been taken into consideration. So we got out, thank God, at 201.50. We just touched 200 right there on Facebook. I said we're not interested till 199, so a little bit more room to come in right now. Apparently, it's a whopping from Financial Juice, 2 million. I don't know if that's been updated.
Wow.
2 million. Normally, if you guys are talking about the market on close and balance, which I am, we're looking at 400 or 500 million to sort of start with and then build from there. It doesn't look like we'll get that today. So that's something there.
Smallest number
Yeah, Morgan Stanley, look, what's up to Squeeze the Cheese? I like that name for sure from our chat. Yeah, Morgan's, look, it's a good call. Their traders are, and their analysts, whoever made that, their economists. I don't really know. Brendan brought that story, so I don't know much about it yet. We'll find out after. But yeah, it looks like they are, put some cold water on this rally right now. The NASDAQ was positive when they said that. Now you're down. But this is where I'm saying that you always got to have outs, right? And we got railroaded there. And even as it was happening, I was like, oh, I just got steamrolled on Microsoft and on Facebook, but I still gave it a chance to work, and it didn't. But look at these outs. You get out, and then you don't worry about it because things have changed, right? And so all we went was over there and started to worry a little bit about Apple because, again, as the market fades out, we know we want this short. So even though this isn't really blowing up to the downside, it has given us a winner, and we were able to make a little bit of money back on that move. So, hey, if anything else comes out, where's Tony, Day Trade Hub? We unfortunately, yeah, Tony had to take a... I considered demotion, but that's what he was hired for, was to, no, but seriously, analyze and work with programmers and things like that. Yeah. So Tony now doing his job in the back and has been relocated.
Yeah, he's still here,
that's a better word.
But he's just not on the trading floor side.
You want me to call him up here again? We can do
he's
that.
Always in the building. That's the thing. It's not
we
that
can do
he's
that.
not
I
gone.
already grabbed a caramel from him.
Oh, I still have the Werthers he gave me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just dig through all of them, right? I am pretty hungry.
Free Tony, free Tony.
Always free Tony.
Unfortunately, I don't write his. I don't. Give his paycheck out. So the boss will have to figure out about that one.
He's still got time for us.
He's got a lot of time for us. He'd come out here dancing right now if we wanted to. Tony is one of my favorites too, guys.
Tesla.
Yeah, mandatory Tony daily. Yeah, that might not happen, but thank you so much there, guys. Yeah, free Tony. We could start that hashtag for sure. He would love that. All right. So just to talk, the market's still fading out. Here comes Apple right back to days. I was going to say days low, but it's not far away from that right now, either on Apple. Obviously, in the morning time, we got as low as 144. So we're still ways away from that. But those of you that are just maybe didn't look at Apple since this afternoon, it is heading lower as the NASDAQ's puking right now. Downside, Brendan just told us it's now
Tesla.
A whopping. Oh my God, the imbalance, guys, went up 20 times right now.
20x.
It's 40 million to sell.
It's gigantic, but
that's
bad news. Look, even though it's a small imbalance, the market is still coming off here. So Tesla is about to hit the low of the day. That'll work for the Rivian short, which I'm going to take out in front of the low because it's 342, and I do want to start covering some of these. But Tesla, relatively weak all session long. That has been the absolute story. Now down 6.5%. And one thing to add to Elon, he's actually said some things which are pretty reasonable. He's a smart guy. I think he has a very sound understanding of economics from a general level, which is pretty cool that he even takes the time to do that. But in particular, Tesla, just looking at the chart, if we don't hold this low here today, that 700 becomes into play, and then from behind that, 666, 680, some levels that we talked about, deep in the last year, certainly are getting pretty interesting, and we might have a chance to be able to see them. I'm now all out of Vinco Ventures. Like I said, it's not moving, so it really only gave us like 10 pennies. Unfortunately, not going to do more than that. Rivian, I'm very close to just saying, if it doesn't want to go all the way to the low, it's starting to bounce now off 2460, and the ES is getting to that 4,000 mark as well, and bounce is about to come in. I'm probably just going to take Rivian off right here and just say, okay, it was a successful trade. We're just going to get out of it. No, as a matter of fact, I actually got an accidental long, which I'll punch out of. So not all out of Rivian, just a couple of small cap names, which, Dominic, I'm holding AWH until the bitter end.
And quickly here, before Veru has lost its bid, we're getting out. If it breaks 13.15, that's enough. We were trying to get this thing to moon. Obviously, didn't happen, but we're still super happy with Veru today. It's a positive stock for us. We went in early. It didn't do anything. We're able to get out of the way, so that's good. Then the reload happens down here at 12.75. Like that was a crazy reload down there. And then out. We didn't get anything out as it re-went back up to this high of 14. I mean, we were just a little bit higher than that. We were actually at 1470 or 1490. I don't remember what it was. So we missed that bid there. No doubt about that. That was a great opportunity for me just to get out, as we talked about Veru in its 15 range. That's as high as it went on Friday. So we definitely should have got out on that move. So hey, lesson learned, man. We're going to lose $1 because we should have got out there. We should have got out and we didn't. So I consider it losing $1, as there it is. We're out now of Veru. Hey, we'll spin it. Money. But instead of buying, that latte, you got to get the drip coffee now, because Veru there takes it down, and there you go. You don't spend that $6 or $7 on the Frappuccino Mocha latte with 100 drips of caramel sauce or whatever. Ms. V.
100 drips
Ms.
of
V
caramel.
has there, not 100.
It's a lot of sugar.
I think it's like
in
2 pumps of. Is it hazelnut or vanilla? Ms. V.
Hazelnut.
Is it hazelnut in the Starbucks or
2
vanilla?
pumps hazelnut, 2 pumps caramel.
That see?
2
So I was
pumps.
right. It was hazelnut and caramel.
Two pumps.
2
hazelnut,
pumps
2
of each.
pumps
That's like
caramel. Oh my goodness! You know what?
into a venti.
Venti cup,
Better
but
than
grande
so the
coffee
bigger
size,
ones.
because I also put cream on the top.
Okay,
you know
say
what?
it again. Say your order.
Say it again.
Here we go. Is here Mike live here, guys?
So it's grande blonde roast coffee in a venti cup with 2 pumps of hazelnut, 2 pumps of caramel, raw sugar, and a cream on top. It has to be raw.
I never noticed the sugar part
Because
before.
you add raw sugar too. That's intense.
Yeah.
Valeria, there's
gotta get
literally-
healthy with the
there's
raw
a
sugar.
flavored coffee that I think that she'd love from Niagara on the Lake that we get. I'm gonna make sure she tries it, because I get tortured by Sean every single day, and you guys don't know about it, but like he's cruel about this because he knows I love flavored coffee and only get it on the weekends. But he has this like hazelnut coffee every day. I have to smell it, and then of course he brought it back for the afternoon show. And I'm
was
like,
in
yeah,
my,
you kidding me? It's delicious. I love flavored coffee.
Those
And then
Yetis, I
Brendan told
mean-
me it's giving me cancer, but which is such a crazy. I didn't know that was actually true.
Yeah,
But anyways,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know if that's true.
For sure
I was
giving
asked
you-
about sundial
for
earnings.
sure
just
giving you
now.
cancer. Yeah.
I don't think so. Someone just asked about sundial earnings. I like trading sundial. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand the fundamentals of the company outside of the fact that it's a little diluted, a little bit. But look, the concern with this stock is obviously everything's been getting beaten up. That's been part of any kind of a meme craze, and it's leaned on to the short side. But if you look at the way that it spikes, the reason I like shorting the stock is this stock, when it does big parabolic moves, it is a gift. And $1 is the only level I love on this thing that doesn't sort of, look, I'll probably trade it if it's 75s, 80s like that. But that $1 price every time sundial gets there, that's what I'm concerned about. I'm not sure what they're going to say that's going to be a positive. Realistically, this is a stock that needs badly to get above $1. Otherwise, they're in trouble. I think, as everybody knows. Brendo?
So China Southern announced a big order for Boeing planes going back a month or so ago. Apparently, they've just come out saying they have removed the 737 MAX from their plans going forward through 2024. So cutting back on that, and that's what happens to Boeing when you do that. If you want to show that there we go. Big tank on volume here for Boeing, guys.
This is like bad, double bad, because Ryanair, like their CEO, was basically calling out Boeing. Well, they're in the midst of a they're negotiating on price in a deal, and then he calls out their management. So I mean,
what are the alternatives? I mean, Airbus. I mean, Airbus is not going to have enough capacity to fill like these orders. So you know, I mean, I'm long Boeing, but
what I think it was saying here. I think what it does is it drives down the like they're just all getting. Boeing's going to start eating on price, I guess. And there's been criticism of the culture at Boeing. I understand that. I haven't watched that Netflix thing, but there's been that criticism. But you're right about it. The thing about an oligopoly or a duopoly, whichever one you want to happen to call it, is nobody else is ready to step in to fill a void if Boeing loses deals. You got to buy from somebody, right? So there's a limit to how competition can come into it, which that's a different debate whether you want to talk about that. But wow, Boeing getting absolutely woodshedded. So yeah, we thought maybe it had made a low. I think that gets put to the test tomorrow because the wipeout, not much is at their wipeout bottoms from last week, but Boeing is right there, 120. You know, that looked like last week that you had a good low on Boeing, and now it's given it up again.
The Kramer bottom. So, look, I mean, you know, obviously news coming out, and that's what's going to happen to Boeing, breaking that 125.50 there, bang, right to the downside. A nice move down. I'd buy Boeing here, so I already own the stock, so I won't be, but this is a good one. I mean, I just want to dip buy tech stocks, to be honest with you, but I would also buy Boeing here. I told you I bought some more Tesla today. I bought Netflix last week. I've been averaging into Facebook, but I haven't bought Facebook since earnings, which was lucky enough to buy that at like 172 or something, and now that's going. So we only have a minute left until the imbalances. Yeah, we're out of everything. Oh, I wanted to, well, no, sorry, I'm still in an Apple short, still got 20% of it. So this is very interesting. Like this is a definite bottom there that, you know, if the market had more time in it other than 10 minutes, I would definitely be long AMD right now into this 94 area. Really like this level back in 94. So you could watch, I mean, look, it's 50 cents worth of risk. If this number comes out buy side, then you have a huge move up. If not, you get stopped out, you lose 40 cents. You know, it's kind of worth it at that level. I'm going to hold on to the short Apple, but I think I'm not going to dance with this number, but it's coming out in 20 seconds
I'm
here.
not touching it.
94.30 right there. We'll call it up and we'll have a, oops, that's my Bluetooth settings. Don't need that. We'll look at it right now. We'll get rid of ARCAs so that we don't have to see them because we're just worried about NASDAQ in New York. I think my thing just might have froze there. There it is, disable adjust source. There it is. I don't know. I don't think this is going to work today for some reason. Maybe if you have it, Neil.
I just threw it up just in case.
Okay. I mean, I do have some. Yeah. So we'll just have to ignore the ARCAs for now. AT&T a big sell. IQ a big sell. Zynga a sell. Pinterest a buy.
Right.
Right there. We can see what Pins is doing right there on a buy. Yeah. Look at that. Nice little bump up there for Pinterest, and the market seems to like it a little bit. Nice little bump upside there.
Yeah. Didn't really expect Pinterest to be on there. I thought we'd see some energy names on the imbalance locator. Not really much of anything. Peloton's a 700,000 to sell. That could be worth watching. Block is a bit of a sell trade there. I'm still in that penny stock, but I'll just get out of it at the absolute close. It was a good point made, I think, by I think the name was New York Jets. Definitely a Jets fan in the chat. That you could get a big bounce in volatility. Look, whether you're looking at VXX or UVXY, like when we've been finding support on VXX or on the other end of the coin, grinding only slower down on UVXY, and essentially, like there's been no big time fallback. So I could certainly see that. Like my first thought will be if we get a major bounce, major bounce in volatility, like what that could do. I mean, that's the one thing that hasn't happened in this pullback, right? Like you actually haven't seen, like we've been falling back down without volatility rising. So if that were to happen, you can sort of imagine like what would happen to the market tomorrow if we're below 4,000 and volatility starts going back up. But it plays both ways, man. If we keep slowly grinding down, well then we're going to find a support level. I'm going to be watching Pinterest here because that's the one that's standing out for a million. If it happens to stay at 355, there might be one of those quick little trades. I think it pairs off, but the longer it stays, the better shot of a scalp short. I know it's a buy imbalance, but I'm thinking the other way with the market down. It pairs off and then gives you like a quick little short trade. That might not happen though. You never know. 355 should give us a hint.
Yeah, we'll see. So we just got out of Apple there as that was a good one. Now we're flat. We have no positions on right now. So Apple, we just got out of that one. Who knows? I mean, maybe now it's going to tank down in. But as the market tries to just, absorb this imbalanced number, which I don't know what it came out as, but it looks like it was definitely a buy as the NASDAQ shot up a little bit. I was looking at that TQQ down there as a possibility to buy against 30 bucks. And as you can see here on a 1 minute chart, that really shot up. So we'll watch that. That's the triple NASDAQ ECN, I was going to say, but ETF. So you can see this one's down today 3% as the NASDAQ's down 1%. So yep, definitely calculated properly right there. TQQ, that means SQQ is going to be up 3%. So watch this. Once it loads, it will flip over. There it is. So up now 3% on SQQ as that's still trying to make some moves. And there goes AMD, by the way. We talked about that. That was going to be a little dangerous if you wanted that trade. But there it goes, man. It absorbed that 94. It didn't break it. And now it did go to that 94.75. So, yeah, I should have took my own advice there and taken that trade. But that's good so far. So there it is, man. Yeah, I was just looking to see if there's any names we didn't cover. Peloton back down to 15 bucks again. I know you looked at that earlier. SoFi down to 695 again. Tilray trying to rock a bit. Facebook's at 200 flat. So, yeah, lots of stuff happening. Should be a good day tomorrow.
Yeah, there's still plenty moving, right? But this market did bounce right off of 4,000 on the ES. So, I mean, that's one thing that we can be excited about. And as we bounced off it, you could see it, like both UVXY and VIX both just dropped right back into the bottom end of their ranges, but still within the range. I think that's the bigger story. Pins doesn't look like it's going to be much of anything. There was a question in there, someone asking about new holdings. Look, all I can tell you is FinTech has been beaten up, and there are some signs of, I guess, signs of life. This one's getting crushed today in front of those earnings. This is the Buffett-backed. It was the SoFi of Brazil, right? Like that was the term. I think
South America.
Sorry, South America.
I mean, maybe it's Brazil.
Either one or the other, but I don't know too much about it except for how weak it's been going into earnings, right? Like you've had a market which has, for the most part, been pretty steady here today. So a lot of growth names, you know, kind of have been following a little bit, but this is a pretty massive pullback off of this $5 level and a rejection of what was a pretty good end to the week for the stock going into the earnings. A lot of times that's not the greatest sign in the world. However, when they're this far down, the path to least resistance usually is risk to the other side. When a stock, this is a daily chart, like I can pull back. When a stock has done things like this, like, oh God, why do we have a $54 wick on this? But $12 double top, and has been sliding down ever since. So realistically, it probably has some room to the upside. I mean, the shorts have already been leaning on this thing pretty hard. $5 is your obvious resistance level. I'd watch out for 7 on the 50 period as well, Brendo.
It's worth noting, guys, we'll get to earnings here, but it's worth noting on that Boeing news story, the reason they gave for the cancellation was simply uncertainty over availability of deliveries for the plan. So it wasn't like a technical problem or safety anything. It was just they don't know if they're actually going to be able to deliver the planes that they ordered. So that was the reason. Anyways, here's the rest of what is to come tonight and tomorrow morning.
Oh, so new was on there.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I like Walmart and Home Depot, but I mean, I don't think they're really worth taking plays into the print here. I mean, this is the thing about earnings, right? Is like, it's all about where they're going to guide. I mean, so I don't know what Walmart thinks. Obviously, if Elon Musk was in charge of Walmart, maybe they would guide lower with the fact that he predicted a recession for the next 18 months. So maybe that would be lower there. But honestly, I like Home Depot. I think if there was anything on weakness tomorrow, I've never bought Home Depot, so I'd like to put that one in the old retirement account there, as I call it. Who knows when I'm going to have to eventually retire? Hopefully never, to be honest with you. I mean, I love sitting here and trading. My wife might have something to think about that, but to say about that. But you look, I don't know. I like Home Depot. I don't like New Bank there or New Holdings. Any name that's really come to market in the last 2 years has basically got either crushed on earnings or had a short squeeze because there was so much short into that name. Maybe we can check. Yeah, that was
just last week.
BLCO.
BLCO, I think. Look, I actually like Walmart. I don't trust Walmart, and I don't want it to go down. But if it goes into the 130s, I'm buying. That's where I'd like to buy it. I think it's you put the R word out there, and you want to get picky about where you buy something like this. I mean, Lowe's, we'll see how that does. Target might be a little bit better. in terms of how they might react. But anyways, Walmart is certainly more of a barometer. It's going to be a big barometer, I think, for the overall market. That's how I want to treat it in tomorrow's trade. If we see the 30s, there might be a dip buy opportunity on it, to be sure. I love the stock for the long term, but I already own this one, and I'm not really a buyer up here.
All right, just watching here as just watching as we get into the close to see if there's anything else that is dramatically moving. I mean, Roblox took down 32. We got out of that way real fast. To me, a very disappointing stock today, just because of what's been happening to the market, is Nvidia being down double what the market's down today. So yeah, there's definitely some broken names out there, and to me, Nvidia is definitely one of them. I've been buying this name. Like I said, the last time I bought this was, I think it was right into here. I mean, even higher. I think it was like 240, something like that. So Nvidia, although I'll double check that. But Nvidia is definitely getting hit. I've talked about buying the SMH. Why? Because then you get AMD. I already own AMD shares, but look at this name today. AMD is now red today. Is that true? Or yeah, okay, yeah. So AMD is now down that 1%. We were up. Oh, that's still a daily chart. We were up pretty good on AMD today. I remember we got to $98 today, and now you're back down to 94. So okay, yeah, that makes sense. We are down. We were up all day on that one, but Nvidia, as compared to AMD, this name just again down that 2.6%. Nvidia is going to have its day. They need an upgrade, or they need something else to really motivate this stock price, because honestly, man, Nvidia is not doing much. Today's a positive day. We did give back. We got hit there a little bit on Facebook. We talked about that right there. And we got hit a little bit on Microsoft, but thank God we're not still holding them, as these have absolutely collapsed. We made some money back on this trade right here, as, oh wow, we just got out at 145.60. This is down to 145 flat. Apple with only a minute to go. So yeah, things have been okay. We gave up on Rivian, although that would have printed as that came back down almost today's low as well. And then, another name that we gave up on a little bit there was Roblox. Averaged in and got out right there on that break. So not much damage done. All of our outs were good. We should have reversed into the short. So tomorrow I'm going to go home. I'm going to think about this, and we'll figure out which way we think the market's going to go tomorrow. But for right now, kind of hands off, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it's one of those weird days, right? Because volatility continuing to drop as the market also is dropping. That setup did happen on pins. It just didn't move far enough to the upside to actually take it. So it did do that little pullback. I thought it would pair off. I just also thought it would run a little bit further. Ms. V's in the green. The market couldn't quite hold on to it here today, but it definitely wasn't her fault. Another fantastic and fun show and good day of trading. The countdown is on. It's going to be an interesting week, all those earnings that we are going to be getting. Somehow that's not even lined up today. 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Ms. V. Quick trigger finger on that.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah, no Tony Pepperoni. Maybe tomorrow. Busy working. All right.
Though.
There we go. As a few things falling down there, it looks like everything's okay.
What are you doing, Fahad?
Yeah, that was definitely Fahad. All right, so shout out to everybody today, but let's go over to Brendan quickly and just see how the market's finished up.
All right, we did get a nice bounce there, guys, heading into the actual bell. So we did come off the lows. The 4,000 magnet continues to be a thing for the S&P 500, though. Here we go. 0.32 for the S&P to the downside. 1% there for the NASDAQ. Dow basically flat. We came off a little bit there after the pit session closed for crude oil, but still 3%. Yeah, cryptos were pretty quiet today as well.
Yeah, I
Consolidation day.
I noticed that about crypto. Like Ethereum stayed around 2,000 the whole day, and Bitcoin around 29.5 to 30. So I mean, it wasn't a very crazy day on ETHE or GBTC or probably MSTR's always
it
seems
probably
to be
moved too.
A little insane as well. But yeah, man, like I'm exhausted. You guys probably saw. Like I don't know what the heck's wrong with me. The days is pretty nasty outside. It's dark. It's raining. The rain finally came through. But hey, I'll take like 5 amazing days for a couple battles.
It was gorgeous.
We're still in the
weekend,
spring.
man.
We're still.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah,
and you know the annoying thing was there was the eclipse last night, and of course, like the clouds came in.
It was a special one. It was
just in time to block it off.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Like
what was it called? It was
see, now I'm blanking.
something.
Oh, for the love of.
Not the blood eclipse. Something like that.
Yeah,
It's
it has
red,
a name. But there was a website you could check it out, so at least I was able to do that.
Yeah. I know I should move to sunny California, right? Like, wow.
Cali, Florida.
Yeah.
You got a good pick, Rolling Records?
Yeah, send it in, Rolling Records.
Send it to me, man.
Blood Moon.
Blood
Yeah, I
Moon,
was
that's
right.
what
Yeah,
it
no,
is.
it's
Send them to me, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, we meant, that wasn't possible here, but yeah, Blood moon. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's not super rare, though. I mean, it happens every once in a while. I mean, it's still rare.
It's just cool to.
But definitely cool.
Too late for my daughter to have seen it.
Yeah,
anyway,
hail.
so-
I know. Can you believe that, Dan? We had hail today.
That's ridiculous.
At my place. Unbelievable there. Okay, look, great show. The trade of the day is AMC. We traded that. We did really well on that. That's another positive stock for us here today. AMC, actually, my number 2 stock today, AMC, behind AMD. So there you go, coming in there as well. So yeah, big show. Thank you to Lucas. Thank you to Fahad today as well. Thank you to Miss V, of course. And thank you to everybody, Maggie, Katrine, Liz. Thank you to Brendan. Thank you to big man Brad right there as he's on the show. Thanks, Brad, for sure. Look, we couldn't do this without everybody. So thanks to Mark. I mean, look how clean this desk looks. It looks like it's getting ready.
That's
So fresh and so clean. Pretty soon the midday show moves over there, as you can see. And thanks to all the guys behind us for the atmosphere and for yelling out sometimes ridiculous things, but that's what's good about it.
Declarations are made.
And it's nice when they laugh at our jokes because
Someone's got to.
you know, someone's got to.
Well, your
and they're
jokes
not even
people
paid to
laugh at.
laugh at them either. All right, Brendan, any last words of advice?
Back tomorrow, guys, for another exciting day. Hopefully, we get away from 4,000 on the S&P.
Ooh, yeah, and we're almost at that 300,000 for the subscribers. So if you can do that, hit the like on this, hit the subscribe if you haven't yet. We're your Trader TV Live team for Sean, for Neil. I'm Sean. Hey, what's going on? Brendan, Valeria, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao, guys.
Bye, guys. Below 92.